You're listening to The Hour of the Time, and I'm Pooh.
I'm Doyle.
And I'm William Cooper.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Magic. Magic is real, ladies and gentlemen. I watched some of it last night on the Larry King show. Oh yes, magic is real. Magic is the art of illusion. Magic is practiced by the magi, by the spin doctors, the propagandists, the liars, the controllers, if you will, and they've certainly got control. Something big is really afoot here. We have a president that needs to be impeached. And if the American people do not impeach him, then the American people have no credibility. They have taken a lot of steps to try and ensure that William Jefferson Clinton does not get impeached. If you were watching the Larry King show last night, you saw, guess who? H. Ross Perot. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he's putting together a, quote, grassroots, end quote, movement to petition the president to resign. Resign? No, this guy shouldn't resign. This man has committed treason. He's committed felonies. He's got to be impeached. And if he's not impeached, then what it means is anybody can get away with just damn near about anything. It has nothing to do with sex, folks. The Democratic Party is trying to convince the Judiciary Committee that the impeachment hearings, if they are held, should only be about Monica Lewinsky and nothing else, because they know what else is going to come out of the woodwork. And so do I, and so do many of you. And the Republicans are pretending like they want to open it up and allow everything to come in. And here you have H. Ross Perot gathering his millions of sheeple to sign petitions to demand that the president resign. Now, I know William Jefferson Clinton. I've been watching him for many years. You could give him 250 million petitions to resign, and he's still not going to do it. But because he's a megalomaniac. His ego is bigger than this whole nation, this whole continent, probably. He wants to stay for his legacy. How many petitions do you think H. Ross Perot can gather between now and the first week of December, when he says he's going to put together this big truck convoy to carry the petitions from all over the country to Washington, D.C., and then ceremoniously present them to whoever is going to be standing there to accept them? I guarantee it's not going to be Clinton. How many petitions do you think he can gather? I think that he can gather more than you can even imagine. I think that he will come up with more signatures on more petitions to fill more trucks than anybody listening to this broadcast can even imagine. That's what I think. But you know what? I think the nation's going to be involved with other things. You see, because I don't think H. Ross Perot gives a damn whether William Jefferson Clinton resigns or not. Remember his shenanigans about running for president? And of course, it was just an accident that Larry King pulled it out of him on the Larry King show, just like this petition drive was revealed on the Larry King show. You see, folks, Larry King is a player in all of this. You want to get something rolling, you want to announce it to the world, you want to keep something going that should be dead. That's what Larry King is all about. You see, this Monica Lewinsky thing would have died a long time ago. You know who kept it going? Larry King Live. Larry King Live kept it going. Nobody else cared. Larry King Live is responsible for keeping the whole thing going. And that's the truth. Every night on Larry King Live, it was Monica Lewinsky, Monica Lewinsky, Monica Lewinsky, and William Jefferson Clinton. And the height of contempt for the American people came when Larry King asked if it wasn't the media, meaning the print media, the stories in the newspapers, that were keeping this thing going. And I almost fell off the couch. Larry, you know who's keeping this thing going? It's you, Larry. They wouldn't even be printing those stories in the newspapers if it wasn't for Larry King Live. How could they possibly ignore it? But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I think the American people are going to be involved with other things. Remember what I told you about October? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now that the economic situation in all of the other countries in the world is absolutely terrifying. Terrifying. Russia has completely melted down. I mean completely. People throw rubles in the streets. They're worthless. There is no monetary system in Russia today. Nobody will accept rubles at all. They barter. There was a big bailout given to Russia by the International Monetary Fund, and that money was used to give to the banks so that they could pay their depositors when they made runs on the banks so that the system would not fall apart. The banks took the bailout money and used it, ladies and gentlemen, to sell rubles on the exchange for dollars. And then they either kept the dollars themselves or they used them to purchase hard assets to protect themselves, and their depositors ate it. The Russian people went to the bank to withdraw their funds, and the bank closed their doors. The banks closed their doors. This is dangerous. Because I'll tell you one thing right now, in Russia, with the political situation so desperate, and with the people clamoring for communism to come back to give them the security that they lost when they were, quote, democratized, end quote. Yeah. There could be a military takeover of that country at any time. At any time. Especially when the military has not been paid. Listen to me carefully. The military has not been paid in many months, possibly a year and a half. The political situation in Russia is dangerous. Incredibly so. And the people in Washington, D.C. are pretending like they don't know anything about it. In the Far East, the economy of Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam. I could go on and continue to name just about every Asian country that exists. They are in meltdown. Japan is in the deepest trouble that you can imagine. Banks are collapsing. Nobody is repaying loans. The entire Asian economy hinges upon Japan. China is worried. I'm talking about the People's Republic of China, Communist China is worried. They're trying to take steps so that they don't have to devalue their money, but they will. The yen is at its lowest point since the early 50s now, in comparison with the dollar. The European economy is on a slide that has no bottom. Australia is in deep trouble. New Zealand is in deep trouble. Mexico is in deep trouble. Brazil has collapsed. Now you remember the days when if Alan Greenspan just twitched his lip the wrong way, the market would dip 20 or 30 points? He's been very vocal about the collapse of the global economy, and nobody is listening to him. Nobody is listening to him. Just on a rumor that they might lower the interest rate, the New York Stock Exchange shot up 100 points. When they only lowered it a quarter point, the New York Stock Exchange has lost over 500 points in the last 2 days. And it will continue to drop. Today, the NASDAQ fell 80 points. Listen to me very carefully. Those of you who have been listening to this broadcast since it began know that my record of accuracy when I make a prediction is the best in the world, bar none. Bar none. But if you want to listen to people like Sean David Morton and Gordon Scallion and all of these other people, you can. But you had better listen to me. In May of 1997, I said on this radio broadcast that the New York Stock Exchange would fall over 500 points on October the 24th of 1997, and it did. It did. I told you when that happened that it was the beginning of a worldwide economic collapse that had been engineered in order to level the playing field for the socialists in order that they might have their new world economic order, which is one world government. You're now hearing open talk about whether or not Alan Greenspan can save the global economy. You're hearing politicians openly discuss a global Federal Reserve Board. This is October. This month, it's coming down around your ears. And if you have any investments in paper, you had better get those investments out of paper, and I mean immediately. You had better do it now. Now, for those of you who are going to criticize me saying that I'm going to cause the market to crash, I'm going to tell you that you're not playing with a full deck of cards, because even with my record, very few people will listen to me and very few people will take my advice. Those people will save themselves. The rest of you are going to lose your butts over the next few weeks. It's coming down. This month, October. Remember, I told you that on or before October the 25th, the New York Stock Exchange would lose 2,500 points. 2,500 points. That was when it was about at 9,300 and something. It's already lost 1,800 points. I'm almost at my mark. Nobody else in the world told you that. Nobody else in the world had the guts to tell you that, although a lot of people in this world know what I'm talking about, and they know what's coming. It could be worse than that, ladies and gentlemen. You see, in my predictions, I try to be a little conservative. So if you think 2,500 points is a lot, you're wrong. When I said it, the market was about 9,300 and some odd points. And I said, on or before October the 25th of this year, the market would fall over 2,500 points. It's already lost over 1,800 points, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have much farther to go to be right again. And I will be right again this month. This month. Not because God whispers in my ear, not because I hear voices from the beyond, not because I communicate with any Commander Hatton of the 9th Space Earth Sector, or whatever the hell Contact Magazine calls this non-existent bullshit artist. Not because I'm looking at a crystal ball, but because I know the socialist plan to bring about what they call their utopian world government. I know their timetable. I've been watching their machinations in third world countries and in the Far East for a long, long time, and I could see this coming and knew the exact date that it would happen. How did I know that? What is the significance of October the 24th? Well, if you study the history of socialism and communism, you will see that that is a very important date. An extremely important date. It is the anniversary of the October Revolution in the Soviet Union. It is the anniversary of the founding, the birth of the United Nations. And a lot more. But that's your homework. Research the date. And send me your papers for grading. Every significant stock market crash in the history of capitalism has happened on October the 24th. And I hear people all the time say, oh, what a coincidence. Oh, spare me. Spare me. It would be so tragic if it wasn't so funny. Oh, spare me. This year, October the 24th, falls on a weekend. Which doesn't mean anything. Except something significant will happen on that date. And this month, all paper assets in this country are coming down around your ears. Literally. Including the paper assets in your wallet called Federal Reserve notes, which are worthless, worth nothing. Now, I talk to people all the time who look at me and say, how can you say that? What do you mean worth nothing? I can go down and buy a car with this Federal Reserve notes. I said, no, you can't. You just think you do. That's why you get a certificate of title instead of the actual allodial title to the car. You don't own it. A certificate of title just attests that a title exists, but you don't have it. It's in the hands of the real owner, which is the state. You see, a Federal Reserve note is only an instrument of debt. It's not a note at all. It's a fraud. It's a counterfeit. It is not what it says up on its face. Therefore, it is counterfeit. It is a lie. It is worth nothing. You have been convinced that it has some value, and the only value that it has is that which the fools that believe it has value assign to it. There's a simple experiment that you can perform to prove to yourself that it is worthless. It is not backed by anything, and that is admitted by the Federal Reserve and the United States government. The Federal Reserve is a private corporation, not a part of the United States government. The only part of the Federal Reserve that is affected by the United States government is the appointment of the chairman of the Federal Reserve by the President of the United States. That's it. All of the member banks and all of the assets of the Federal Reserve are owned by private individuals or corporations, including the banks themselves. Lay down on your coffee table in front of you a $1 bill. For those of you that have any, most of you are running around with credit cards and checks. May not have seen a $1 Federal Reserve note in many years. Lay down next to it a 5, next to that a 10, next to that a 20, next to that a 50, and next to that a 100 Federal Reserve note. And then I want you to look at them and see if you can spot the difference in value between any of them. What is the actual difference in value between the one that has the $1 written on it and the one that has the $100 written on? There isn't any. They're all pieces of paper. They're all exactly the same size. They all have ink on them. They can't even be used for note paper. They are worthless except the imaginary value that you have assigned to them. They are not backed by anything. They are pieces of paper. Pieces of paper. A dollar is not money, and paper is not money. The money of account of the United States of America is gold and silver coin. A dollar is not money. A dollar is a specific unit of measurement of gold or silver coin. A measurement in weight and purity of either gold or silver, which makes up a unit called $1. So when you look at those notes, the first thing you have to understand that is a note is a promise to pay something. There is nothing backing a Federal Reserve note, therefore it is not a note because the United States will not pay you anything for it. They will take it and exchange it for another Federal Reserve note, and that's as good as you can get. It is not a note. If you think it is, look up the definition of note in any law dictionary that you can find anywhere, and you will see that it is not a note. There is no Federal Reserve. There's nothing on reserve to back what they call Federal Reserve notes. There is no reserve, ladies and gentlemen. It's a scam. It is a lie. The Federal Reserve is not owned or operated by the United States government. Period. The United States government has no influence over the Federal Reserve Board except to appoint the chairman of the board. That's it. They cannot tell the chairman of the board what to do, how to act, or how to do it. He is autonomous and is one of the most powerful men in the world. It is all coming down. It's over. And they'll use this as the excuse to cement the one world economic system. And if you look at the definition of government, it is an economic system. All governments are economic systems, ladies and gentlemen. Once a world economic system is instituted and a world Federal Reserve Board is appointed and in place, world government is a reality from that point onward. It's really a reality now, except you can't see it. Now, if you think I'm full of baloney, you'd better open your ears and start listening to what everybody is saying in Washington, D.C. and in the capitals around the world. You had better start listening to Alan Greenspan. You had better start listening to the congressmen on C-SPAN as they talk about this world global economic collapse. And you had better get your money out of paper investments immediately. If not sooner, you should have done it a long time ago. They're telling you the truth, and you're not listening. They're telling you how serious it is, and you're not listening. They are telling you what's going to happen, and you are not listening. I have been telling you for a long time, and you have not been listening. You had better listen now. Now. It's over. Within a few weeks, the middle class in this country is going to be the poor class, poverty-stricken. Jobs are going to disappear. Companies are going to close. People are going to lose their faith in what they believe now is money, because it is not, and they're going to discover it very quickly. Haven't you ever wondered when you pay off your house why you didn't get the actual allodial patent title to that property? All you got was a warrant deed? Did you ever wonder about that? You see, if you pay for something with a notice of debt, which is backed by nothing and can be exchanged for nothing, you have not purchased it. And since you paid for it with a notice of debt of the United States of America, guess who owns it? The United States of America owns it, or the state of Arizona, or the state of California, wherever that real title resides. And it does not reside with you. That's why I've made sure over the years to make small investments in things where there is no record and that can be used as barter or trade or as real money, and that does not require a title or a deed or a patent or allodial. Not much, because I've never had much. And it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to my children's trust, but at least we've taken those precautions. Most of you have been listening to us tell you this for years and have done nothing. You've done nothing to prepare. Even though you can look in history and see that all paper economies have always ended up in absolute failure, rampant, worthless inflation, where everybody became poor literally overnight, and the government began cranking out money by the truckload. And every time they created a new truckload, the money that you held in your pocket became less and less valuable. And it's not money anyway. Money must be a commodity, must have intrinsic worth of its own, separate from any value that anybody may hold in their imagination. Wheat can be used as money, but it has a short lifespan if it's not stored properly. Gold and silver coin lasts a long time and have a lot of intrinsic value within themselves. That's why they're money. Titanium, platinum can be used as money. Toilet paper can be used as money if there's someone who needs toilet paper and is willing to trade you something for it. The same with coffee. If people are addicted to coffee, coffee can be used as money with those people. It cannot be used as money with people who do not drink coffee. I hope you're listening to me, ladies and gentlemen. It's all coming down this month, October. It would take a miracle to prevent it. If the only news that you get is off the boob tube in your living room or off your AM and FM radio, then you know absolutely nothing that is occurring in the rest of the world. And I'm telling you now, what is occurring in the rest of the world is as bad or worse. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's worse in many instances than the great 1929 depression in this country, which, by the way, was itself a worldwide depression. It is worse in many countries than that depression already. If you know somebody in Russia, call them and find out. If you know somebody in Mexico, call them and talk to them. If you know somebody in Brazil, call them and talk to them. If you know someone in Indonesia, call them and talk to them. You will find out that Americans do not ever get the truth through our media. It's bad news time. And everybody's walking around as if nothing is happening. As if nothing is happening. Call someone that you know in Tokyo, in Japan, and ask them what's happening with their economy. And they will probably break down and cry over the phone while they are preparing their sword to commit hara-kiri. The suicide level in Japan today is as high as it's ever been in their history. Things are bad. And the American people walk around as if they are walking in their sleep, without any understanding or knowledge of the terrible danger that is just in front of them within the next few days, possibly. Why is it that if Alan Greenspan sneezed, the market would go up or down quite a bit? Now he's telling you openly in public with no hesitation that there is a global economic crisis. And he says clearly the United States cannot escape the repercussions of global interdependence in the global economy. These are harsh words from a man who knows that if he just says anything, he could cause a market crash, and people are not paying any attention to him. Is this the ultimate denial? Go back and read your newspaper accounts as to what has happened when Alan Greenspan has just hinted that there might be a slight increase in interest rates. And look at what happened on the market. Now he's telling you that there is a global economic crisis. Not problem. Crises. That the world is in trouble. That several countries have completely melted down. Their economy has collapsed. As I have warned you over the years, that was going to happen. You don't need a crystal ball if you know who's in charge and what their plan is. It's easy. It doesn't call for panic either. It just calls for prudent, responsible preparation. If you're still living in a huge metropolitan population center, and you didn't get out a long time ago when I told you you should, I don't know if you can get out in time. I do know you can make preparations. You can store food and water. You can make sure you have a source of spiritual renewal or sustenance. You can ensure that you have things that you can use for money. If you cannot buy gold or silver coin, and if you do, you should buy them in the smallest denominations and not collector's coins. Just regular, run-of-the-mill, ordinary, smallest denomination gold and silver coins, like mercury dimes, 10th ounces of gold. If you can't afford to do that, then buy things that you can afford, things that may not be available to those who must have them when things get really bad. You should have warm clothing. And you should have warm clothing for when that clothing wears out. You should have a place where you can grow a garden, and you should have seeds, open pollinating seeds, so that you can plant a garden. Those of you living in areas where you can purchase and keep chickens should have chickens. They lay eggs. If you live in the country where they have a good area which they can forage for bugs and things that they eat, you don't have to feed them. This is the way that you should be thinking. This is why so many people in the Great Depression of 1929 were not prepared. And so were so terribly hurt. It also had a lot to do with poor farming methods and a lot of other things. It also had to do with the Federal Reserve holding back money from the people, which caused a depression. See, there are no reserves now. There's nothing to hold back. They're going to have the same paper that you have. Doesn't matter whether they hold it back or give it to you, it still is worthless. Back then, and this is what they don't tell you when they say that the cause was that the Federal Reserve held back money. The money was gold and silver coin. The dollar was backed by real money. It was called currency. Now they don't call it currency because it's not. Currency must have something backing it. These are counterfeit baloney pieces of paper covered with ink. Nothing backs it. There is no reserve. There's nothing for them to hold back, and there's nothing for them to give you except more paper, which always causes inflation. So if they pump up the presses and start pumping money into the economy, and they've already told you they're going to do that, haven't they? And what are they blaming it on? Just as I told you, the danger is not in Y2K, it is what the people's perception of Y2K may cause. The Federal Reserve has already ordered the printing of $50 billion in Federal Reserve notes to flood into the economy when people fearful of Y2K make a run on the banks to empty their accounts. Why do they have to do that? Because there isn't any money in the banks. This is a paper economy. Most of you use credit cards and checks. You could never find enough Federal Reserve notes to cover the debts, the real debts and the real payments that need to be made. This is a runaway debt-based economy that has absolutely no money behind it. So when all of the people are scared to death of Y2K and make a run on the bank to empty their accounts before the computers go haywire, the Federal Reserve will flood the banks with this $50 billion in new money, and guess what happens when you flood an economy with worthless pieces of paper? Ask the Germans who were alive during the Weimar Republic. Ask the Germans who were alive after World War I. Ask them. And if you can't ask them, go find a book and read about it. A woman would go to the bakery to buy a loaf of bread for 2 marks. By the time she got there, inflation was so rampant that the loaf of bread now cost 10 marks. She would go home to get 8 more marks. She would come back with 10 marks and find out that just in the time she left the bakery and went home to get her money and come back, inflation had caused the value of that loaf of bread to go up to 25 marks. She could never go to the bakery with enough money. And so she never had a loaf of bread. It got so bad that people went shopping with wheelbarrows full of paper marks. Now, some of you are probably laughing and saying, oh, he made that one up. No, I didn't make it up, ladies and gentlemen. It is a fact. A fact. So you see, all of you are running around worried about Y2K. It's not Y2K you have to worry about. It is the effect that the propaganda about Y2K is going to have on the sheeple of the world. That's what you have to worry about. Y2K is not a problem. I told you that. And even if it causes some things to go haywire or shut down, they will be started back up. Ricky-ticky, I guarantee you, and the problems will be solved as quickly as possible wherever they may occur. Most of the problems concerning Y2K have already been solved, have already been taken care of, are of no consequence whatsoever. But the panic caused by the panic spreaders, many of them masquerading as good, patriotic, and religious Americans, but who are really operating in furtherance of the Hegelian dialectic to furnish the antithesis which will cause a great crisis, a catastrophe, and out of that will come a synthesis which I guarantee you is not going to be good for any of us. Thus spake Zarathustra. That just blew Doyle's mind. I know many of you don't even understand what I just said. Look it up. That's your second bit of homework for tonight. Look it up. In about, a couple more seconds, we're going to turn this tape over and proceed. So I'll do that right now. Thing that I do. Turning over the tape. How many of you have been listening to these Y2K doomsayers? How many of you listened to the last day prophet of God? You know, I don't care what all of these people say. They have a right to say whatever they wish as long as they're not hurting the person or property of any other people. But they are. You say Brother Stair can spout until his nose turns blue that it's the end of the world. And so can the Midnight Watchman and everybody else. It is not the end of the world. The world is not going to end. There are not going to be gigantic, unbelievable earth changes at the millennium. There are going to be the normal floods and volcanoes and rains and heat spells and droughts and all of that kind of stuff, just as the world has always known. Every once in a while, one of these things will be exceedingly dangerous or catastrophic, but the world is not going to end. And California is not going to fall off into the sea all the way up to my property line in Arizona. And all of the other things that these doomsayers are using to whip you into millennium apocryphal fever. And all of you running around saying that you don't have to get involved in anything or care about anything because Jesus will be here tomorrow, you are wrong. He's not coming tomorrow. He's not coming until you've all forgotten about him and you think he's never going to come, and then he will show up and be right in your face if there is such a thing as him ever coming back to begin with. You see, because if you read what he says, and if you study what happened with him and his disciples, either he's a liar or he's already been here. And I don't think he's a liar. I think your preacher is. That's what I think. Everybody quotes everything in the Bible except what Jesus Christ said in the Bible, the words written in red. They never read those. They never read those. Nobody ever quotes those words And those are the only words that I read. You see, I don't read any of the other ones. Isn't it amazing? That doesn't mean that I'm right. Doesn't mean that you're right or that you're wrong. It just means, ladies and gentlemen, that everything is cockeyed, screwed up, and everybody's running around spouting off stuff they don't know anything about. And they've got people stirred up like Art Bell does every night in mass hysteria and full-blown panic. And you know what? I wanted to stay up and hear the evolution of Sean David Morton from the simpering little wimp, son of Satan, that I first met back in 1989, to the great con man that he has become. And I couldn't do it. I was too tired, so I went to bed, and I didn't hear a word he said. So when we opened the phones, whoever of you listened to Art Bell, I would like to hear the prophecies that he made last night that are going to help whip the world into the mass hysteria needed to cause the final move into world government. And no, he's not causing world government. He's just one little ripple on the pond that is building into the big wave that's going to carry us there. Art Bell is a bigger ripple. Ripple. Is Ripple a wine? Somebody told me once there's a Ripple wine.
I've heard that. I don't know. I have no idea. He whines a lot.
Maybe. Yes, he does whine a lot.
I know.
He does. I hate whiners. Oh. Whiners are amazing. Let's open the phones. 520-333-4578 and see what you've all got to say about all of this. Good evening. You're on the air. Hello? Goodbye. Well, there was somebody there, and now there's nobody there. So, anyway, the phones are open, 520-333-4578. Let's hear what you've got to say about all this. What do you think about this, what you just heard? What did you hear last night that is going to help move us into this, help create the great panic and the mass hysteria throughout the world that's going to rush us into this, because that's where we're going. It's exactly what's happening. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hey, Bill. It's Professor again. You've talked to me twice in the last week. I heard some of Sean David Morton's predictions last night on Art Bell.
Care to share them with us?
Did you listen?
No, I didn't. I just said I didn't. I was so tired. Remember, during the broadcast last night, I was exhausted. I was tired all day yesterday. I tried to stay up, and I just couldn't do it.
Bill, I'm struggling with some inferior shortwaves. Can you tell me what would put... I'm on the move all the time, so I need something very portable. A Grundig yacht boy, tell me, what would be my best bet? I'm getting you real scratchy right now.
Oh, I can't do that, because if I recommend one and it's not right for you, then you're going to, I don't know that much about radios. I do know that Sangians are good radios, and we offer 3 different models. If you don't like the models we use, you can go anywhere near you and buy whatever you do like. We recommend and sell Sangians because they have proven to me throughout the years that they're one of the very best for the most reasonable price that you can find.
Look, a while ago when you mentioned what you said about Jesus not coming and all, that was very scratchy, and I hate to have you repeat yourself. But let me just say something real quick, and then I'll try to listen to you back on the radio. I believe Art Bell has a lot of people on that are possessed. I believe Sean David Morton is possessed. After we had our discussion about Art Bell the other night, I looked at your site, what you said about Art Bell. I saw the logo. I know he has a lot of very satanic, occultic... let's face it, what is occultic is satanic. Do you agree?
No, that's not true. Occult simply means hidden, concealed.
Right.
The word occult has no other meaning except concealed. If you conceal something from your wife, you are engaging in an occult practice, and that's the truth.
Okay, but in the reference or inference to the occult worship of spirit beings, such as whether it be Baal, like the Baal logo, Baal, the eye over Horus, whether it be Horus, we recognize that is always leads to Lucifer. Do you agree to that?
They believe in the Luciferian philosophy, not in Lucifer. You have to understand now that you're getting into this and you haven't studied it like I have. They do not believe in God. They do not believe in the devil. They do not believe in Lucifer. These are all metaphors. They believe that man is God. Through the use of his intellect, he will conquer life, the universe, and be able to live forever and do anything. That's what they believe. They are secular humanists, and that is their religion.
Well, in so many of their writings, they make contact with, if you heard...
No, you're reading an esoteric text, and you're interpreting it in a literal interpretation, and you cannot do that. You don't understand the language.
So you believe there is no beings there? There are no...
That's not what I said. I said this is what they believe. It doesn't matter what I believe. It matters what they believe, because whatever they believe will affect us. You understand that?
I sure do. What they believe affects us because they are pushing forth their agenda.
Yes, and they have the power to do it. They are in the places of power.
I'm just trying to fill in a gap here. I know so much of, I understand so much of what you always say. I'm just trying to fill in a gap here for my own consumption.
Reading an esoteric text without understanding the language and interpreting it literally is like going to Greece and never having learned the Greek language and thinking that you know what two people are saying when they're having a conversation in Greek. I'm telling you, you don't.
Well, the text I place above all is the Bible, and the God I place above all is Jesus, in whom the Holy Spirit will be given to those that believe and will give them spiritual discernment. My question for you, Bill, are there demons roaming the earth right now, and Satan seeking whom he may devour? Are there spirits with which we must battle, not a battle which is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and rulers, spiritual wickedness in high places, and rulers in darkness?
Let me put it in a way that everybody listening will understand it. I believe that the battle we are engaged in is the ages-old battle between those who believe in God and those who do not. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of the human being.
Okay, I'm sorry about that ringer.
That's all right.
Okay, so are there any demons roaming the earth or any spirits roaming the earth now, in your opinion?
I have no idea. I've never seen one.
Well, okay.
I believe that there...
one, your opinion may change then drastically.
It could, yes.
Or if you felt one, your opinion may change drastically. Well, what do you do with people like Bill Schneblin and say Doc Marquis and so many of these people that have come out of the occult, high-ranking, they achieved high ranks in Luciferian worship.
They say.
So you
they say.
Bill, you don't miss a beat. You get around to challenging everybody. And
I have to challenge everybody because you must at some point in your life learn to think or you are doomed.
Well,
They say. I can tell you from my study of the Illuminati, they do not and have not ever worshipped Lucifer. They worship the light. Lucifer, the metaphor. The fire. And it all is a metaphor for intelligence, the mind of man. That's what they worship.
Bill, this has been very, I hate to say the word enlightening, but...
That's why they're called the philosophers of fire.
I see a unity in all of that. I see such a unity.
You're damn right.
There's how can these men be that united unless there was a spiritual glue, if you would, a spiritual adhesive that holds this whole mishmash together. There is a discipline.
No. You're asking to understand in a couple of minutes on a phone conversation what it took me 26 years to learn, and I'm going to tell you can't do that. You have study ahead of you.
Bill, I have been attacked by demons, and I have defeated them in the name of Jesus Christ. They have left me alone. They were on top of me, holding me down, and I could not move nothing but my head.
I don't know anything about that. I can tell you this, I cannot accept your word of it, except that that's what you're telling me is your experience. Neither am I saying that you're lying to me. What I'm telling you is this never happened to me. Right. There is no scientific evidence of it. I cannot validate what you're saying. And if that's what you want me to do, I cannot do it and will not do it.
Each man in his own experience must, come to what it is he's supposed to understand. Well, look, my life, you know, and since I've come across you since 1995, and I am grateful. You know, what you have done is started that fire in a lot of people that got them to thinking, looking, doing their homework.
Now, see, a lot of people out there who don't know that we just discussed the meaning of fire think that you're talking about striking a match and lighting some paper, and you're not. And that's exactly,
right.
You see, they're doing with what you just said, with what you do when you read the esoteric texts of the mysteries.
Well, I basically have just confined my study mostly to the Bible, and with that,
can't do that. If you don't study your enemy, you can't fight the battle. You don't know who he is, what he believes in, where he is, what weapons he uses, or anything else. You're lost on the battlefield. You don't even know where the fighting is at.
But Bill, you're talking to a man that has battled two deep. Well, I personally battled two.
I'm not talking about battling demons. I'm talking about battling in this world for the freedom of mankind. I'm talking about for the future lives of your children. I'm talking about doing the right thing, rooting out and discovering and destroying the evil in man's machinations that would enslave humanity.
Bill, on my website I have a quote right out of the Bible. It says, "Where the Spirit of God is, there is liberty." Where that Spirit of God is, there is liberty.
Tell that to the Christians who believed in God and had the Spirit of God with them and were thrown to the lions in the Colosseum in Rome. I think that they would give you a different story as they were torn limb from limb and devoured in front of your eyes.
And it's not dead yet, Bill, and there'll be plenty more of that going on.
Well, I don't know about that.
In Elberton, Georgia, there'll be plenty more of that going on. I've been there and seen where sacrifices will be carried out, I would say, in the near future. And I believe your timetable for many of the things you say is pretty much on time. The coming economic destruction is now. It's probably, it hit me like a wave. I told a man standing here, he was Indian, right in front of me, I said the stock market will fall 500 points this July. It was July 3rd. I said before the end of July, it will fall 500 points and will fall a great deal after that. It just hit me like a wave. I have the Holy Spirit. You there, Bill?
Yeah, I haven't gone anywhere.
I heard it click. I have the Holy Spirit in me, and he tells me things like that. You know, I don't need a crystal ball, and I know you've studied the mystery schools. I'm just going to tell you that you are dead on target about what you're telling these people tonight, and they had better get on their knees and prepare with their Lord first, and then do what the Holy Spirit leads them to do. And if they don't have that, then they're going to be in some serious trouble, and they may end up standing in line taking the mark very gladly. The mark card says multi-automated reader chip. You know, that's your mark, and the Beast Battle Engagement Aerial Simulation Tracking, isn't that what it's called?
No.
What's it called? Battle Engagement?
No, but that's what a lot of these silly publications...
Have you ever worked with Norio Hayakawa?
I know Norio Hayakawa.
I know you do, but I mean, have you ever worked with him? In other words, did you ever do a project of any type with him, like Anthony J. Hilder?
Yeah, I've worked with him. Hold on. And I know Anthony J. Hilder, too.
Right, I met him in...
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to WBCQ, Monticello, Maine, USA. Now you may continue.
I'm sorry. Anyway, I met him in Atlanta at a Voice of Liberty Citizens Constitutional Georgia meeting. Rick Tyler was hosted him there. But, you know, he's done a lot on the Mark card and the Beast computer and all of the...
I've seen all this stuff. It floats around the Patriot community like crazy, whipping people up into millennium apocalyptic fever, and everybody's running around like a chicken with their head cut off, doing everything except what they're supposed to be doing.
Do you believe there will be a literal mark of the Beast, Bill?
I'm not worried about that. If there is, I'm not going to take it. Why should I worry about it and spend my time running around in panic because there's some mark of the beast?
Well,
I'm not involved in it.
I would contend Anthony J. Hilder is one of the leading experts on the coming...
Anthony J. Hilder is a friend of mine. He's
Right.
also a sensationalist. Anthony J. Hilder has never researched anything that he has ever said on his radio show. I know him. I like him in my personal life. When he gets in front of a microphone, I could kick the hell out of him for some of the things that he says without ever even doing 1 second of investigating. He's a hell of a nice, very kind man, but he is irresponsible in his reporting of what he gets on his fax machine.
Bill, I know you're out there all alone and everything, and
I'm not all alone.
you've cut a lot of people off in your time. You've cut a lot of people off, and I just hope that your heart is softened somewhat, because a lot of people are fixing to get hurt. And
I do not feel sorry for them one bit. They have had warning for many, many years. I can do nothing to stop the sheeple from getting hurt except what I am doing, and I have probably done more than most who have ever lived to wake them up and steer them in the right direction.
Chiquetta Hawk said, every age has its Stonehenge it desires and deserves, and this age is certainly going to have it, but how can you not cry for people throwing their lives into the flame, as it were?
Because if I did, that's all I would do.
I cry every now and then.
Somebody has to fight the battle. You can sit and cry 24 hours a day if you want. I'm fighting the battle.
I don't want to do that. I want to fight the battle, Bill.
Well, then don't ask me why I'm not crying. I can't get out on the battlefield and cry.
Every now
If
and
I
then?
cry, I can't fight.
Okay, well, look, God bless you, brother, and keep it up, and I'll be listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. Oh, boy. Oh, sometimes I think I'm beating my head against the wall, folks. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Good evening, you're on the air.
Yeah, good evening, Bill. I'm Gary. I'd sent you something called One God, One State, kind of pointing out that, throughout the world we had liberty, especially in Northern Europe.
Gary, can I interrupt you for just a second? You need to put your mouth in front of your phone and talk a whole lot louder. You have a very soft, low voice.
Okay, my apologies, sir. Is this better?
That's much better.
Okay. Pointing out that we had liberty, village level, decentralized, do your own thing as long as it didn't hurt somebody else kind of liberty, bear arms, real money, real barter kind of liberty prior to the advent of Semitic monotheism and its spread throughout our world.
What do you mean Semitic monotheism?
Well, sir, I mean that most of your callers and most folks I meet in the constitutionalist or patriot movement unfortunately try to filter every blasted thing through the Bible, not realizing that it was a confluence of plotters at the Nicene Council who left out as much stuff as they put in.
I've told them that on many episodes of this broadcast, and they just don't seem to want to listen.
And I've caught some of your tapes on it, and they're excellent. And they don't want to deal with those paradoxes. They're looking for really simple answers. And the fact is, the universe is not, in my opinion, and I'll just throw it out here for what it's worth, ruled by one dictator who's got everything right. It's ruled by a whole bunch of different forces. You can call the other guy's God a devil or a demon or Lucifer, whatever you like some of your callers have done. But I believe what you've got, sincerely, is where you have a confluence of forces from the collective subconscious of man projected not just into...
That's the Luciferian philosophy. That's the belief of the mysteries. That is the ancient paganism religion.
From previous times as well, and if you get enough people thinking that a cabbage head is divine, probably sooner or later it will come to life.
Well, I think that's probably happened several times. They built a plane out of straw on a Pacific island and worshipped it based upon...
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that's what happens when you have a virgin weeping in Italy and it's weeping blood or
whatever. On this broadcast, we believe in freedom for other people to worship whatever god or altar that they want. We truly believe in freedom, which means that if you talk on this broadcast, you must be respectful of other people's religions also. I would not insult yours, and I hope that you would not insult my listeners' religions.
I think that what we have, sir, is an innate mindset which has brought us to where we are today. You've had it basically this way for 1,000 years in the Western world. What we have happening today is a direct result, in my opinion, of Semitic monotheism and its emphasis upon sin and redemption from sin through suffering, and the idea that man is so low that he has to be redeemed through a godly sacrifice. This whole concept basically trashes our opinion of ourselves. This whole construct also of constantly being in sin is equivalent in a spiritual level to the idea of constantly being in debt. That's why we based our economies on debt rather than productivity and reinvesting surpluses, real wealth.
Well, you're making a big mistake there if you believe that Christians believe that they're constantly in sin. They do not. You're echoing a tenet of the headquarters of the Catholic Church in Rome. But most Christians who believe that they have been saved through their belief in Jesus Christ are no longer in sin. They do not live their lives in that manner.
Well, they go through a very complex rule book.
Not if they believe...
The code of honor amongst the ancient Teutons was very, very simple. Just had a few things. Didn't require a whole treatise on it. People basically knew what was right and did it.
Well, everything in those times was simple. The way they lived, the way they got their food, their way that they thought, their mathematical problems were all very simple. It is only logical that their religion reflected this simplicity. They lived very close to nature, and so their religion usually reflected their relationship with nature.
It was based upon nature and the observation of natural law and putting man to live according to natural law. So it didn't try to manipulate people through sin and guilt and a promised paradise or redemption or that sort of thing.
The only religion that I know that does that is the Catholic religion.
Well, I would suggest to you, sir, that you find that replicated in practice, not your version, but in practice in most of the Protestants, certainly right here in the Bible Belt. They use the same kind of psychological meta-programming.
Well, if they do, they certainly were not listening to Jesus Christ. They did not read what he said. They're listening to somebody in a pulpit who's lying to them.
Well, which version?
Jesus Christ said, "Whosoever believeth in me shall have everlasting life."
Orpheus or Prometheus, or which version? I mean, there were 16 others prior to the one that you have quoted in the very limited version, leaving off the Gospel of Q, the Gospel of Thomas, and all the other versions that were carefully ferreted out.
It's just very simply talking about what is quoted that Jesus is supposed to have said in the New Testament of the King James Version of the Bible, which is the standard text for every Christian church in this country.
By Watts, by people from the Illuminati. It was a very select committee.
No, now wait a minute. Whoa. You said that these people believe that they're living in sin all the time in this stuff, and I'm telling you that's not what Jesus said, and now you say it was created by the Illuminati. You are taking and twisting the conversation into an area that has nothing to do with what I said.
Well, I understand where you're leading with that. I'm simply saying that...
I wasn't leading anywhere. I was just telling you that if someone is a true Christian and reads the words of Jesus Christ, they do not and cannot believe that they are living in perpetual sin. That's all I said.
I'm saying that it's been very carefully selected. We don't even know what words there were, or even if there was such a... Just like Paul Bunyan is not a historical figure. If enough people talk about it enough, repeated it enough, and carefully filtered out enough versions, we might actually arrive at some point 1,000 years from now in a worldwide belief in Paul Bunyan. And
that's exactly what religion is all about. You see, whoever believes in wood nymphs and believes in tree gods is doing the same thing that someone else does when they bow down to a bronze statue of Buddha and worships that statue, which I know they don't really do, but that's the interpretation a lot of people give it. They're just bowing in respect to the memory of the man who gave them the way of life that they follow. But all religion, listen to me, you're talking about religion as if it's supposed to be based on fact, and it is not. Religion is called religion because it is based simply upon an article of faith, that people believe something that cannot be proven to be true and cannot be proven to be false in most instances.
And you believe in liberty. I've read some of your works. I know where you're at on that, like your Pale Horse document. Clearly you're upset by people who don't believe in it. And that's the bottom line.
Don't believe in what?
Pardon?
Upset by people who don't believe in what?
In liberty.
You're damn right I did.
Right, and what I see to the constitutionalist and libertarian and especially the constitutionalist circles, the patriot circles, is the kind of forced state religion. I guarantee you if there were, and I hope there isn't some sort of bloody revolution here, because I think everybody's going to lose if there were, but if there were tomorrow, between the forces of the so-called New World Order, the George Bush types and so on, and their UN troops, and the guys out on the mountaintops in camouflage and the militias, it wouldn't matter as far as liberty goes which side won. There won't be any liberty either way. The folks I know around here that are in the militias basically would put a gun up to my children's head and say, okay, pray or you don't eat. Pray or die.
I would say in answer to your statement that you don't know those people. You are reflecting what you have seen on your television set.
People that I've met, sir, personally and have known around here, people you meet at gun shows, people you meet
and you're taking your experience with one or two or three people, and you're saying all of these people are that way, and I'm telling you that you're wrong.
I've read this.
Anyone who believes in the Constitution for the United States, who says that they are a constitutionist, cannot believe in a theocratic religious government.
Read the website Yellowstone.
I don't need to read the websites. There are a lot of intentional, dead-end people who call themselves patriots who are not. people who call themselves constitutionists who are not, who are serving the Hegelian dialectic to help this whole process come about, and that's what I'm trying to warn you all against, and you fall right into it and make a statement like that, which is the same thing as saying all Jews are out to kill all Christians, and it's a lie.
I never said categorically, Mr.
You
Cooper.
did. You said all these militia and constitutionists and all of these patriots are all the same.
They don't.
You said it right here on this broadcast.
Said the guys I've met around here don't have a program for liberty. They just have a program for their own viewpoint as opposed to Washington's. I don't see their reliance on liberty or the Constitution.
You may know some people who are like that. I know some people who are like that. Whenever I see them, I call them on it. I tell them, you're not a constitutionist, and you don't believe in liberty. You believe in a theocratic government. You believe in the Dark Ages, where if somebody doesn't believe like you do, you're going to burn them at the stake. And I'm telling you, if you start that crap, you'll have to fight me too. Why don't you tell them that?
Sir, I've tried to do that, and I appreciate the point you're making. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. There seems to be this tone creeping into a lot of the websites I check, and a lot of the people I hear who are claiming to be constitutionalists. You've just made the distinction I was aiming at. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good one.
You too. Haven't you ever thought that maybe someone is doing this on purpose so that liberty and freedom doesn't have a chance? I'm telling you, that's exactly what's happening. That's why I've said on many occasions, that most of the so-called patriot leaders are not patriots at all. They're on the other side, and if you follow them around long enough, you'll follow them right to a Masonic lodge. Good evening, you're on the air.
Yes, sir, Mr. Cooper.
Yes, sir.
It's good to hear your voice again, sir.
Thank you.
I'm a subscriber of Veritas. And the last two callers, well, the first one wasn't that bad, but this one that just hung up.
He's not bad. He thinks the same thing that he's accusing all these other people of. He has his own agenda, and he thinks he's the only one that's right, and his religion is the only religion that's right.
Exactly, sir.
He's dogmatic.
That's what I'm trying to...
I know that's what you were going to say. I
agree with you, because I was raised in a Christian family, and I understand the first caller to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe there is a spirit out there where certain mankind go to this area, but I understand the difference in fire. So this guy, though, is totally either the second guy, rather, was...
He's practicing what he accused everybody else of doing.
Right, and that's scary.
Yeah, he's doing exactly what he accused them of doing to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just as scary as those people who he is afraid of.
And I've learned more freedom from you, and it really slapped me in the face, but that is totally correct, and even biblically, it is totally correct. So I just want to thank you very much, sir, for being on the air. I'm glad to hear you again, and wish you Godspeed.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you.
Thanks.
I don't know why people have such a hard time with freedom. Freedom is simply this, ladies and gentlemen, that you never do anything to hurt the person or property of any other human being. That you allow them to be them. That you allow them to worship whatever religion they want to worship. You see, if you deny them their freedom to do that, then you have also denied yourself. What you have said is whoever is the strongest and in power has the right to dictate what you're going to believe. And that is not right. We are born, all of us, every man and woman upon this face of this earth, we are born with certain unalienable Creator-endowed rights. Governments are instituted amongst men to protect those rights. Read it. It's in the Declaration of Independence. If you want the right to be a Christian, you must give someone else the right to be a Satan worshiper if he wants to. God, if you believe in God, will deal with that person, not you. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Remember that? Most Christians aren't Christians. They don't know the meaning of the word. And you're all still dividing yourselves up to fight each other because you want to be free, but you don't want to let anybody else be free. And that's the real cause of all the problems in the world. If everybody would understand and practice freedom, there would be no problems in the world. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yes, this is Carl from Pittsburgh.
Carl, can you put your mouth in front of your phone and please talk loud?
Right, this is Carl from Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
I understand that George Washington and most of the founding fathers were Freemasons.
That's correct.
Do you have any comment on that?
I've commented on it probably 5 million times. I have done hours and hours and hours upon it. Their memberships, what they belonged to, what their goal was, why they founded this country, and why they knew that someday we would give it all up in exchange for security from the state.
They put all these wonderful documents into law.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, they put these wonderful documents, the Declaration of Independence,
Yes.
the Bill of Rights,
Yes.
all put into law.
Yes.
With safeguards.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Do you have any comment on that?
I've already told you. I've commented it 5 minutes. In fact, I just commented the other night again.
Well, I wasn't listening.
Apparently. But I can't do every show the same every night. There's got to be a point where I tell you that if you want to know, if you want to hear it again, after all the times I've commented on it, purchase the tapes or put your nose in a book.
Hello?
Goodbye. Sorry, I'm sorry I've got to do this, but apparently you can't hear me. And if you can't hear me, we can't have a conversation. Good night. Thank you for calling. 520-333-4578 is the number. I just explained the whole thing. Night before last, wasn't it? Or not long ago. Good evening, you're on the air.
Okay, let me turn my radio down. Okay,
Yes?
sorry about that.
That's okay.
You got it before I get the radio now. Yeah, is it okay if I make a comment about Y2K?
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'm a computer programmer for a bank.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I've been involved in year 2000 testing for about a year.
Uh-huh.
Actually making code changes. We just now started doing testing. And now before I got into this and doing it, I was probably one of the doomsdayers.
Uh-huh.
But after getting into it, hearing what you were saying tonight, I can reiterate what you have been saying, is that the perception that people have about that is what's going to really cause the problems, because what I've ran into in doing the testing, I have ran into trouble. I mean, we have warped all the data, all the dates, relative to the year 2000.
Uh-huh.
And, we went like the last business day in December and went over to year 2000. And, we ran into problems. But what's happened is that we're able to quickly identify those problems.
And then solve them, right?
Yeah, because see what it is, the people that are writing the code, after you've got in there, done changes, and you know how it works, you're real familiar with what's going on in there. When you see a problem, you're like, oh, I know where that's happening. Maybe you can fix it immediately.
Uh-huh.
So, there's going to be problems, no doubt about it, because there are so many things out there. I mean, and people who write code understand this. That, you can't. Everything that's out there, you're not going to see it at first, but the problem will occur. You'll be able to fix it pretty immediate.
Pretty quick, right?
Yeah. So you're right. There's no doubt that you're right. And also, too, I just want to say one thing is about last couple of nights I heard y'all talking about Waco. Is that actually you were the one that actually probably opened my eyes. I remember when that happened, and how they were saying that they set the thing on fire and all that, and I believe that. But I heard you in my local area here, which is around Charlotte, North Carolina. I heard you on a FM station here in the morning talking about that, talking about how I think WWCR got burned, and you were telling the things that you knew. I was sitting here going, I've always been open-minded, and I was like, well, wait a minute, what's this guy saying? So I started looking, and then you probably know the rest of the story. I've come all the way up to I'm a rebroadcaster now. Actually, I'm rebroadcasting your show as we speak.
Excellent.
So I just thought I'd let you know you were the one to open my eyes up, and actually I'm a much happier person than that now, because I feel like I know a lot more. I'm not in the dark.
Yeah, you're not going around with that funny feeling in your stomach. You know something's terribly wrong, but you don't know what it is. Now you at least have some idea, right?
Yeah, because when I was younger, I used to play in heavy metal bands and got a lot of ridicule for that. I mean, and got harassed by the police a lot when we'd play out in clubs. And I'd always think, well, why are the police harassing us? Because even when I was younger, I studied a lot about Nazi Germany. It was just something I was interested in. And I was like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. And then I started, after I heard from you on that show that day, I started looking, and then I was like, we got problems. big problems.
Yeah,
So,
there's no reason for any police officer anywhere to harass anyone under any circumstances whatsoever unless you are engaged in the commission of a crime.
That's correct. And also, I don't know if you want to make a comment about this or not, but with Ross Perot's little stunt,
Yeah.
is that okay? Okay.
Is what okay?
Okay. Oh, making a comment about that. About Ross.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
In fact, I opened up the broadcast making a comment about that. If I talk about it, you can talk about it.
Okay. First of all, I think Ross Perot is a disciple of democracy. Okay. Remember when he first came out, he was talking about setting up the big electronic vote, allowing everyone to vote on.
Sure, he's a populist. He's also a socialist.
Yeah,
One of
which is wrong.
the first thing he said after his first televised town hall meeting, when he came out, one of the reporters there stuck a microphone under him and asked him what he thought about the Constitution. He said the Constitution was penned over 200 years ago by a bunch of doddering old men who didn't understand the complexities of the modern age. We've got to change the system.
Yeah, didn't he mention...
That's a direct quote, exactly word for word.
But didn't he mention one time we need to change our government to a parliamentary system?
Yes.
I remember him saying
Yes,
that.
he is a socialist. I'm telling you right now, Ross Perot is not on our side.
Oh, yeah.
And it should tell you something when he admits that he's a populist.
Yeah.
The Populist Party grew out of the attempts by the socialists to unionize farmers in Kansas back in the days of the early unionizing attempts in the agricultural area. Populism is socialism.
Yeah.
And that's going to make a lot of people at the Spotlight mad, but it's absolutely true, and that's why I've been telling you don't read the Spotlight unless you're going to read it in an open, objective manner and not believe everything that they tell you.
Yeah, I know the first time me and my wife looked at Spotlight, we kind of labeled them Patriots Inquirer. That's the way we viewed it.
Well, it's not patriotic. It's socialistic. It's populist. Anything that's populist is socialist.
But one thing, like
a lot of the enemy masquerades under this name, patriot or constitutionist.
Yeah.
They are not. They don't even know the meaning of the word.
Yeah, exactly. But
Populism.
Another thing I want to say about this whole Ross Perot thing, and also to do with the rest of the country, is that he's doing this in his petition up, but bottom line is it doesn't matter what the people think. The Constitution defines why the president should be impeached and who is to do it. What the people think, it doesn't matter here. So
that's part of the great democratization of America, which will rush us straight into socialism.
And I think if the Congress sits back and lets the opinions of the people drive whether or not they're going to impeach him, our democracy, our republic is almost gone already, and when this happens, it's the final nail in the coffin.
Well, it is almost gone. I don't even know if there's any of it left, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And
I think we may have just a small remnant, but that will be the final nail in the coffin.
And despite...
Because they're going on what people think.
Yeah.
And I read through the Constitution the other day. I couldn't even find in there. Maybe you can correct me because you're probably I'm sure you're more versed in it than I am. But I couldn't even find in there where it said the people even vote for the president to begin with, the electors.
They don't. The people don't vote for the president. They vote for the electors.
Yeah, but I don't even see in there where the people were even supposed to vote for the elector.
Well, they don't have to.
Yeah.
So has nothing to do with it. That's why I've been telling people for years. With their perception of what happens is not reality at all.
Yeah.
And if they just read the Constitution, they would be able to maybe figure it out if they understand English.
And didn't they base a lot of this on Plato? What Plato thought a republic should be? He didn't feel that everyone should have a vote. We had representatives that did, because the majority of the people out there don't have the common sense to run a government. That's why we point people to do it for us, and we feel are better suited for that.
Yeah, and it should not be elected officials either.
Oh, really?
Not by the people, no. Who do the people elect? Joe Blow, who runs the used car lot. What the hell does he know about running a government? Yeah. Our founding fathers set up this country to be run by statesmen, and they set it up so that the people could be elected to take turns to go to Washington and sit in Congress for 1 or 2 sessions and come back and run their homes. They never dreamed that there would be such a thing as a professional politician. They never even dreamed of that. And there was not supposed to ever be senators elected by the people. See, these things are slowly changed gradually over the years to propel us into democracy, which always falls into an oligarchy and then into socialism or dictatorship.
And then, if you notice, a lot of people, I don't know, some people notice this, but when the Federal Reserve was instituted, around the same time the senators, the Constitution was changed, allowing people to elect the senators instead of state legislatures. I mean, it all kind of fell in place.
Yeah. The two major, and you'll notice that these numbers have occult significance. The first major step to destroy the nation was made when the Civil War began. The second was in 1913. The third was 1933.
Yeah. Well, Bill, I'm going to get off here and let someone else call, but good talking to you, and glad for you.
Thank you.
Okay, man. You have a good night.
Glad for me. What'd I do? I don't know why he's glad for me. I haven't. Did I get a new car and don't know about it or something? 520-333-4578 is el numero. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello, Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I just wanted to say I've listened to your show for quite a while. Probably back in the first year of your broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling from around Nederland, Texas. And I know sometimes you feel you're banging your head against the wall.
Oh, whatever gave you that idea?
No, I don't know. But I just want to tell you kind of a little bit about my story. You kind of, I don't know, catch on to your broadcast listening. It made me, study more. I ended up going back to school and I became a teacher.
Let me interrupt you for just a second. I got to change this tape.
So anyway, I guess this was back in '93, and I had a degree, but I kind of had a dead-end job, and I wasn't doing much, kind of looking for what I really wanted to do. So I went back to school and became a teacher. I'm not yet certified in the state of Texas, but I am teaching full-time, and I'm working on my certification, and I want to teach government now, because that's all I think about, political science and everything.
Well, good for you. Don't get trapped into joining the NEA.
Do what now?
I said, don't get trapped into joining the NEA. They'll destroy all your wonderful plans, and they will force curriculums down your throat that are Marxist-Leninists in their government teaching.
Yeah, well, fortunately, from your broadcast and things that I've read, I already knew about the NEA. Yeah, when I get information for these teacher unions, I just throw them away.
Good for you.
I'm teaching in a middle school, and I got hired as teaching an elective. It's called theater arts. So I have to get my certification there. But in Texas, once you're certified in the field, you just take a test. So I can be certified and take my government certification. But my point was about young people. You probably don't hear about young people a lot. I mean, I know you have some youngsters. I've got a 2-year-old daughter, but these 6th graders that I teach, they can be very perceptive, and I try to just get them to think for themselves. And we have to watch a little broadcast every morning. It's called Channel 1. I don't know if you ever heard of it before.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, well, it's probably in every junior high and high school in the nation now.
Yeah.
And they do news stories, and it's typical of broadcast news.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not. It's not typical of broadcast news. It is even more in its deceptive and manipulative content.
Oh, you're right about that. So every day, they show it only the first of the day. So whatever class I have, we always talk about it, and every day we learn something new. I mean, the kids do, the children do, and I kind of learn something new from the way some of these young people think, and it kind of gives you encouragement. But I have more trouble with talking to the teachers I work with than I do with the kids sometimes.
Oh, you're going to get in big trouble. I just know Pooh's on her way in here. Every time she hears somebody say kids on my broadcast, she gets upset.
Well, you know what?
Because she doesn't consider herself to be a baby goat.
Well, look, I made a mistake. 'Cause I tell my students the same thing. I tell them, if I ever say that word, you need to correct me. So they keep me in line and everything. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you that, and I'm really glad you're back on a station I can catch. I have an old Hallicrafter shortwave radio.
Oh, my dad had one of those when I was a boy. I can remember listening.
Did you? Well, I don't know how old it is, but I bought it from a guy. Somebody told me it may be late 40s, early 50s, but it works better than this another one that I have. And now your frequency, I can only catch it on this one.
Yeah, is it painted with gray enamel?
Yeah, it's gray.
Yeah, that's the same one. I'll bet you anything.
It's gray and black. It's got a band spread on it. It's got a carrier wave button. It's got a noise limiter.
Yeah.
Only thing, it gets real hot, but in the winter it keeps my room warm.
Yeah, that's because of the tubes.
Yeah.
And if you want your tubes to last a long time, you need to put a fan behind there so it gets good circulation.
Well, that's what I used to do. I'm going to do that again because I just broke it out.
Yeah.
I want to say one more thing.
Tubes are hard to find today. That's why I'm telling you that. So
yeah. Well, there's an old in a town called Port Arthur near where I live. There's an old. There's a guy he's like a radio enthusiast. He has an electronics shop, and I know I can get tubes there.
Oh, good.
One thing I wanted to say, I saw a newspaper article coming to our area to speak at a nearby university is Shimon Peres, and what got me, because I've studied in mystery schools, I guess, for the last 4 years, and I try to read as much as I can. The quote really caught me, and I don't have it with me. It's at my school, but I can paraphrase. Basically, in his book, he stated that after the Gulf War, there was this new opportunity to, how did he say it, to help bring in a dawn of a new golden age. And he talked about, he used the metaphor of a bridge.
Yeah.
At the very end, he said, and we need brave travelers. I just thought that was very symbolic right there.
He's recruiting for the socialist marchers to propel us into the New World Order.
Yeah, exactly.
For those of you who don't understand, maybe new listeners, the Golden Dawn or the Golden Age is a metaphor for the coming world government.
Yeah, fellow travelers, I think.
Fellow travelers is socialists, communists.
Freemasons also.
Freemasons.
Yeah,
they're all working toward the same goal. That's why they call themselves fellow travelers.
Fellow travelers, yeah. It's funny that I'm teaching something like theater arts, but I talk to the history teachers at our school. Mm-hmm. I mean, some real sheeple in your terminology.
That's because.
And I was trying to convince them. I couldn't even convince them with literature, with books, that the Nazis were socialists.
No, that's because they have been so ingrained that the Nazis were somehow a right-wing, whatever they think that he was. But he was a socialist. He socialized Germany. The Nazi Party was the National Socialist German Workers' Party. I've also heard it and seen it written as the National German Socialist Workers' Party. But that's what he was, and that's what it was. And chances are that the real reason that they don't want to hear it is they're probably Marxist socialists themselves. Most people who ascribe to academia in our higher institutions of learning in this country are Marxist socialists. And they took over our universities a long time ago, and that's what they teach, and that's who occupies our great halls of learning, and that's why we're cranking out little fellow travelers working toward the goal of the New World utopian system.
Yeah, we know a lot of this area has a lot of petrochemical industry. Of course, it's on the decline, but there's a lot of guys that worked at refineries that went back to school to teach.
Yeah.
And these are the ones I have the most trouble with, and I think it's because of their union background. And,
Could be. The unions were created by the socialists and communists a long time ago in this country, and they first existed as secret societies.
Well, and
most people don't know it.
I try to tell them to do a little reading, but of course they don't do that. And there's a book. I wanted to get your comments on this book that I found it. Someone I know bought it at a garage sale, and it was called "None Dare Call It Conspiracy."
Yeah.
And now, was the the man who wrote that, was he the founder of the John Birch Society?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. The man who wrote that was a guy named Carr, I believe.
Okay, I can't remember his name either, but I thought the book was very enlightening because it mentioned some things that you brought up. That's I think it's on your website. You mentioned in the show how the code words they use, how democracy means socialism, and how peace means when all opposition to socialism is out of the way. That's
exactly right. That's Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin defined peace as the elimination of opposition to socialism.
Right. And also something that you really got me going on. I took philosophy in college.
That's why you got to watch out for United Nations peacekeepers.
Yes, peacekeepers, exactly. And when you started talking about Hegel, this is years back on your show. It reminded me. I took philosophy in college when I was just a young, very young sheeple, I guess. I was like 20 or 21, and I studied philosophy. I was very interested in philosophy. Didn't quite understand some of these German philosophers. And now, Hegel, you look at Hegel, and I have some old dictionaries. The school I teach at, it was built in 1928, and I found some old dictionaries. I've got some real old ones, and they have excellent entries, like when you look up communism and Marxism, they talk about the Hegelian dialectic and dialectical materialism.
Yes. Oh, yes, you got some good books there. Don't let them slip out of your grasp.
I've got them. I've got one from the 30s.
You'll be surprised how many libraries are divesting themselves of all the old books. And
you know what I'm finding out at this Lamar University here in Beaumont, Texas? I go there because they sell hardcover books for $1 and paperbacks for 50 cents. A lot of them are old. There's a lot of old government textbooks. I bought a book by J. Edgar Hoover on communism.
Yeah.
Which was pretty accurate as far as from my study.
That's why they had to make him a homosexual. J. Edgar Hoover was not a homosexual.
With no proof whatsoever.
He was not. He was not ever a homosexual. They had to destroy J. Edgar Hoover's character so that nobody will read his books, which exposed all of the things in those books that are now coming to pass as being directed by the hand of socialism and communism.
Socialism and communism.
That's why they have to tell these lies about J. Edgar Hoover. He was not a homosexual. Not ever in his life. When I first heard that, I had to find out the truth. So I got every shred of evidence they claimed that makes him a homosexual. I got every paper that was written on it. I got every book that was written on it. And there is not one single thing in any of those books, papers, or citations that would stand up for 1 second in the most corrupt court that you could find.
Right. Just smearing a dead man who can't defend himself.
It's all lies.
Yeah. One more thing, because I'll let some other people get on here.
By the way, I thought a lot of J. Edgar Hoover. I really did. J. Edgar Hoover knew the limits of federal authority. J. Edgar Hoover never let the FBI do anything or venture outside its proper jurisdiction, and he was a good man who did good things for this country. When I was a little boy, I wrote him a letter on his birthday to congratulate him. He wrote me back, and for many years I wanted to be a member of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The Federal Bureau of Investigation now is part of the Gestapo of the New World Order in this country. It stinks. Its agents stink. They are criminals. They are murderers. And by God, I hope I live to see the day that they are all trooped in front of a jury of their peers and tried for their crimes. I want to see it.
I agree with you. One more thing, because I listen to a lot of driving in my car, AM radio, and I think you've commented on this. I couldn't catch your other shortwave broadcast very well on the other station, but one thing that makes me laugh is I listen to shows like G. Gordon Liddy, and he has sort of a cult following, and maybe I'm wrong, but wasn't this man he was connected with, he was an operative. I mean, when he got caught at the Watergate Hotel, the men working for him were all CIA agents. I would believe if he was the leader,
so was he.
Also a CIA operative.
Yes, absolutely.
And I believe he still is an operative.
There is no such thing as an ex-CIA agent. Never was, never will be. Even if they retire, they're still under oath. They're subject to be recalled, and they are, for all intents and purposes, still agents of the Central Intelligence Agency. They cannot talk about what they were involved in. They cannot write books about it. If they do, it's because the CIA wants them to.
Yeah. Like you said, there are no leaks.
That's exactly right. There are no leaks.
Well, if you listen to them enough and someone calls with, I guess, half a brain or talks about world government, you know, he just poo-poos the idea right away.
Sure he does.
And there's another guy, if you want to be entertained too.
If he told the truth, he'd be dead tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. There's another guy that's on syndicated national radio he's on at night, and if you want to hear a real idiot, I mean, I don't know how I would describe him. His name is Jim Bohannon. Have you ever heard of him before?
I think I've heard the name, but I have no idea.
Well, he used to be when Larry King had his radio show at night, he used to sit in for him for years, what I understand. But he's on a lot of radio stations across the nation at night, and I mean, golly, like you say, if it wasn't so tragic, you could just laugh and laugh and laugh. I listen to him for entertainment, as well as Art Bell for entertainment. Didn't catch him last night though. But listen, I'll let you go, Bill.
Okay.
Really, I'm glad you're back on shortwave, and you're on for 3 hours.
Yes, but that's not gonna. I can tell you right now, it's the same old story. Everybody wants us on for 3 hours, but they're not willing to support the financial end of the broadcast. And I'm not going to ask for donations. So if they don't buy the products that we have, we'll cut back to 2 hours. And if they don't buy enough of the products to pay for the airtime at 2 hours, we'll cut back to 1 hour. And if they don't buy enough of the products to support 1 hour, I'm going to stop supporting them because I've been supporting them for so many years, and I think it is absolute betrayal of everything that I've ever done that these sorry excuses for patriots in this country can't even support their own causes.
Is it a big cost to maintain your website?
Are you kidding? That costs $1,000 a year.
Okay, well,
minimum.
I don't know anything about computers, but I pass the word on the website all the time.
That's not even counting the labor that goes into it, and the hours and hours and hours of keeping it up and maintaining it. Not even counting that.
Well, I think it's a steal, your price for the database. What is it, $29, $30?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a steal.
Well, it is a steal.
I mean, it is amazing, and I'm definitely going to get onto that, and I'll try to support you any way I can. But
good. Also, you know how good our website is? Every single national laboratory visits our website several times each day. Pentagon, same thing, several times each day.
Well, I don't even have a computer, but anytime I'm on anybody's computer, that's the only place that I go.
The White House, the major military installations in this country.
All the major
military. The FBI, the ATF, the Treasury Department, all of them are on our website every single day. Every day. We're getting over 600,000 hits a month now.
Okay.
And growing.
The feds are leaving you alone right now on your hilltop there?
They better.
Okay, I mean, I haven't checked I haven't heard you talk about it, and I haven't,
They better. I'm not David Koresh.
Yeah.
I won't let them kill my family or my people. I won't let it happen.
Well, I think they
come up this hill, they're going to pay for it. And I mean, they're going to pay for it. They have not yet had an opposition. They've got one now.
Well, Bill, look, I'll let you go. You fire me up, Bill. That's all I can say.
Well, good. Somebody needs to fire somebody up in this country because I'm tired of seeing all the sheep laying under the trees in the shadow chomping on the grass while the butcher is busy on the other side.
All right. Hey, keep your sense of humor.
Oh, I do.
You crack me up.
Thanks.
Okay, Bill. Good night. Have a good night. Hang in there.
You just cracked me up with that comment. Crack me up. Thank you for calling. Oh, gee. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah. How do you feel about Clinton being in the White House? Do you think that he should have been put there in the first place?
No. Of course not. I don't think Bush should have been there. I don't think Carter should have been there. I don't think any of them should have been there. For a long time, we haven't had real presidents. We haven't had anybody who took their oath seriously and really got in there to clean house and support the Constitution for the United States of America. They are not presidents. They're put there by powerful people who then tell them what to do when they're in office. You couldn't possibly believe that Clinton is really running this country. He's not.
Oh, he's not.
He never has been. No, he shouldn't be in the White House. But if you take Clinton out today, Al Gore's going to be president, and nothing's going to change. In fact, it's going to get worse with Al Gore.
Exactly. I've talked to numerous people, and they said that if I had a choice between Al Gore and Bill Clinton, I'd have Bill Clinton in there. They don't want.
Well, unfortunately, you don't have a choice, and when you have a choice like that, you can't make it, because a lesser of two evils is still a deal with the devil. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I feel that we have let our government take too much power over us.
They've taken almost all of it. If you want to know the truth, they have taken it all. They're just being gentle with us because they don't want us to find out yet.
Yeah, I think that if we had stood up to the government and said, we're not going to take this, we're going to keep our land, we wouldn't be in this situation. I don't think we would have been in this situation.
We can do that today. But you'll play hell finding enough people who've got even the slightest amount of guts to be able to do it.
Exactly.
They're afraid of their own shadow. They're scared to death. They're already slaves. They're already enslaved in a country where they pretend to be free. You see, if you're afraid of your own government in the United States of America, you're already a slave. Nobody should be afraid of a government in this country. And people are petrified. Absolutely petrified.
Yeah, I think that we need to start taking back what is ours. I think that we need to start taking back what is ours.
I've already started.
You know,
I'm at war with the treason in Washington, D.C.
I don't think we should just sit here and let the government tell us what to do. I think we should be sitting here telling the government what to do. That's
well, we can't tell the lawful government what to do. What we can is tell the traitors what to do and restore lawful constitutional republican government and then live within the law.
Mm-hmm.
There is no law today.
There is absolutely no law and order. None whatsoever.
That's right.
I think that even the courts aren't even safe.
No, the courts are not safe. The courts are dangerous.
Even the courts aren't safe. I mean, you go to trial and they can slap a murder charge on you, and they're not safe anymore.
It happens every day across the country. They make up the law as they go along, and whatever they even tell you, you're entitled to present a defense. The judge tells you that you can't present that defense, and so you have no defense. That's what they did to Timothy McVeigh. I know for a fact Timothy McVeigh was involved in the bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. That's not doubt. I'm not defending him, but he was not given a chance to defend himself. He wanted to tell the truth about the government involvement, and the judge told him he could not do that. You see, he got sucked into it, thinking that he was working for the government, doing a patriotic duty. That's what he believed that he was doing. This is one of the most patriotic young men that you could ever find in your entire life. He got sucked into that. He was used and then sacrificed, thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, I personally think that you are right, that Timothy McVeigh did get sucked in.
If I'm not right, why would the judge refuse to allow any testimony whatsoever implicating the government in the destruction of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building?
The courts don't want to hear anything about the government. The
No.
courts already know.
No, that's not the reason. It's so that nobody will ever know. That's the reason.
I think you are very correct, and I think you have got some good guts getting on the airways and letting the people know how you feel about the government. I feel that you are one man, and I think that you'll inspire everybody else to say, we're going to take our country back, and we're going to do what's supposed to be done with it.
I hope so.
We're going to reestablish the democracy that was established.
No, we're not. There was never a democracy established, and there better not ever be one established. This is a constitutional republic. Democracy is socialism.
And I think democracy has taken over. has happened. Democracy has taken over.
No, it hasn't yet, but it's in the process of doing that as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
Not far away. I mean, they've already, through their rhetoric and the repetition of the word democracy whenever referring to the United States of America or to any of the state governments, they have convinced the sheeple in this country that it's a democracy. Now all they have to do is make it true. That's what Ross Perot is about. That's what Ross Perot is doing.
I think Ross Perot is trying to create that democracy.
Yes, he is.
I don't
Absolutely.
think he's going to ever get through.
Oh, don't ever underestimate the stupidity of the sheeple.
Exactly.
Give them credit where credit is due. Don't rob them of their credit. They're entitled to it.
Yeah. I live in a little small town of Springerville in Eager, Arizona.
Oh, you're my neighbor.
Oh, so you live here too?
Yes. You don't know that? Are you serious?
No, I didn't know unearthly he lived here.
Yes. Have you ever listened to 101.1 FM?
I'm listening to it right. Ever since I.
That's my station. It's broadcast right here.
Yeah. Ever since I heard you talking on it, I said, now this guy knows what he's talking about. He's got his head on straight about what's going on in the government, what the government is doing, and and I said, this is a guy that's letting everybody know that this is what the government's doing, and it needs to stop.
If it doesn't stop, we're all going to march headlong into the worst portion of human history that has ever occurred on the face of this globe.
Yeah, I think that I have been told by a friend of mine that the government has just taken what we have had away.
That's true.
They have taken it away.
That's true.
I think it's high time that we take that back, what they have taken away from us.
Let me tell you what's been happening right here in Arizona. You probably know about it. You know about the ranchers' battle with the federal government about grazing rights on public lands?
Yeah.
They're trying to put the ranchers out of business. Well, the ranchers have been fighting the wrong fight all along, and they've had no help from the state government down in Phoenix or in Tucson. They have had no help whatsoever from their own representatives in the state house or from the governor, because everybody believes that the federal government has jurisdiction over the public lands in the state of Arizona and every other state.
But they don't. They don't have that jurisdiction.
They don't have it because when Arizona became a state, they reserved jurisdiction for the state over all public lands, including national forests, every piece of public land in this state. So, knowing that, I imparted that information and gave them the documented proof to senators and representatives for the state of Arizona, and sent it to the governor's office. And guess what those people have not done? They have not yet told the ranchers. And unless the ranchers are listening to this radio broadcast, they're never going to find out.
They're never going to find out what they need to do.
They don't need to do anything. All they got to do is tell the federal government to kiss off and go suck. Because they have no jurisdiction.
Go tell them where to go and how to get there.
Yeah, they have no jurisdiction.
What they need to do, they need to tell our government of the United States of America where to go and how to get there.
They have no jurisdiction to tell the ranchers that they can't graze their cattle on public lands. That responsibility resides with the state of Arizona. And I got to let you go.
All right then.
Take care. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Oh, folks, I'm beat. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this top of the hour WBCQ thing, and then I'm going to turn this broadcast over to Doyle for the last hour, and he can do whatever he wants to do because I'm beat. It's, I used to do 1 hour a night, 5 nights a week, and that was exhausting. Now I'm doing 3 hours a night, and thank God for Doyle. I got to tell you, if Doyle wasn't here, I couldn't do this. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Doyle right after I say this. Across America and around the world, you're listening to WBCQ, The Planet, Monticello, Maine, USA. And now, for all of you who have been waiting, here's Doyle.
Hello. Let's turn off the station. Go ahead and do that.
Okay, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to shut down 101.1 for about 30 minutes while Doyle does the commercials, and then he'll put it back on the air and probably open the phones again. You got one phone call here. You want to take that, Doyle?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay, we're going off the air with 101 right now. There you go. You're on the air. And I'm gone.
Hello, you're on the air.
Go ahead, Bill. This is Bob from Mentor. I came up to mention Syracuse, New York.
Yes.
With Carl from Mentor.
Yes.
And I was just thought maybe I just got a hold of you and listened to you on radio. And I had a little problem with my storage. They wanted maybe I talked to you about it.
No, but go ahead and talk to Doyle in the audience. I got to take a break. I'm just dead beat. I'm on my feet. There's nothing to sit down on here, and I got to go get off my feet. So talk to Doyle and talk to the listening audience and tell them what happened. And it's good to hear from you.
All right, same here. My county that I live in wants me to put my stores in.
Okay.
And I have fought with them for doing it. I bought my property through a private land claim.
Yeah.
And it's confronted them with a problem as far as I can see. I then put in what they call a McGillis letter, where I put in an affidavit and sign it, and I make out an affidavit for them to sign, and another set of documents to show that they have that it has to be done by demonstration. In other words, the first one would be you cannot demonstrate that legally, lawfully, and otherwise that I have to follow you. That's in my affidavit, and theirs was it can be demonstrated. The same statements that I made in mine was repeated. Only the few words were changed. It can be demonstrated. And the third set of documents was by demonstration only.
Okay.
And I gave them, 10 days or 20 days to answer, and they never answered. So I put in a notice of fault. And the day I put it in, they sent me some more letters back, which I returned to them, dated the same day as the registered letter that I sent to them.
Yeah.
And 10 days. Well, I waited over almost a month. I then sent in a notice of the default.
Yeah.
And I found out that by putting the word "the" in front of default, it changes the meaning of it. And that was almost a month ago, and I haven't heard from them. They haven't contacted me. Nothing.
Did they ever Did they ever show you? Pardon? In any of the affidavits, the second affidavit you mentioned, did they ever show you their jurisdiction?
No. I asked him. In other words, one of the questions I asked him that I can remember: am I subject to the Queen of England? And that was in on my affidavit. I said I'm not subject to the Queen of England.
Mm-hmm.
By you cannot demonstrate that I am a subject of the Queen of England. So on their affidavit, I stated it can be demonstrated that I'm a subject to the Queen of England. And then on the third document, it said by demonstration only that I am a subject to the Queen of England. And they never answered that.
Yeah.
So then I waited a while, and I put in the notice of fault. Well, I found out that the grammar was wrong. It should have been notice of the fault.
Okay.
It changes the meaning of it. So when I put in my default judgment, I put in a notice of the default.
Okay.
And they still haven't answered me. They haven't talked to me. They haven't come out. They haven't done anything to me. And I'm still running a septic tank, and everybody else on the street's got sores.
Well, I'm no lawyer. I'm just a dumb grunt, so I'm not even going to try to tell you give you any advice, okay?
Well, I'm not. Of course, advice. You're not an attorney. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You
and I can't give you counsel either. I know.
An opinion, but you can't give me advice.
Yeah.
But I just thought maybe that might interest some of these people across the country.
Well, it should, because that's typical of it, especially planning departments at your city and county level.
Yeah.
See, I have some background with this, okay? Planning departments generally make me puke, okay? What they do is they get out there, and all they are, it seems like they're revenue collectors, and they don't go out and the bill doesn't say pay the planning department per se always. But what they do is they make building and construction projects, lighting, sidewalks, anything they can get the resident to pay for it, okay?
Sure.
If you want to put in a sidewalk, they say, well, your property happens to be where the light pole fell and the fire hydrant fell, so you got to put both those in. It gets it off their back. They can tell someone else that we've got a 90% compliance for fire hydrants. It got paid for off some poor Joe killing himself at some job. He had to pay for it. He gets no remuneration. And then, if you try to build something, they tack on so many fees, it almost makes it cost prohibitive to get a permit or anything. You take the state of California alone, the average in the county where I lived, this is right from the county planning department and the board of supervisors. I was there. I held an elected office. $30,000 in fees are tacked on before you even drive the first nail. By the time you have the fees on the property, the permits, inspectors, and everything else.
Well, that's true. I built my own home, and I built a garage. And in 1985, my garage burnt down. I turned around, and I had to clean out the garage. I had stuff that was 3 feet deep. I had so much stuff in there that the roof set 3 feet off the floor.
Yeah.
Well, it took me quite a while to get it cleaned off, and I was supposed to do it within a certain period of time, otherwise I'd have to go get another permit. And in doing so, I decided that the garage wasn't big enough in the first place. I had built a building 24 by 42, and that was 1,010 square feet approximately, and I couldn't build it over 1,000. Couldn't put up a garage that would hold more than 3 cars.
Yeah.
And if I put the door on the 42-foot wall, I could get 7 in there. So when I built the garage, I built a 2-car garage. I built it 36 by 42. And I didn't ask for a permit. Didn't go get anything. Permit is something that you give somebody else permission to do on your land.
Yeah. It's just like a license. It turns a right into a privilege.
Yeah. And they come out. I'm putting nails in the shingles on the roof when the building inspector and his helper and the deputy sheriff came down. And I turned around and I went in and got a tape recorder and I asked them their names, and they gave them to me. And the one guy says, "Why should I get a permit?" He says, "You got to have one." I said, "For what? If I fall down the basement stairs, it wouldn't. That permit wouldn't help me." And he says, "Well, we can't be there all the time." That was the answer I got from him. Yeah. So then I sent them a constructive notice, all 3 of them, and then they ended up taking me to court.
Yeah.
And when the judge said, "You found me guilty," well, he wanted $100 fine and $53 court costs, and that was back in November of '87.
Yeah.
And I walked out of the court. Of course, I was dumb and stupid at that point. But I walked out of the court, and I never gave him a penny. I still haven't given him a penny.
Good.
My garage is still standing. I'm using it. I got it packed. I got a 24-foot boat in the garage and 7 cars. And it's still up there, and they don't know when to leave you alone.
Yeah, I had a public event back home a couple years back. 2,000 people. Some odd people attended it over the weekend. The peak attendance 1,200 any given time in the building. And I was approached by the fire marshal because I didn't get an inspector or public use permit. and all these different agencies, the city. And basically, I told them the same thing I had told the Chamber of Commerce in my town, who tried to blackball me on the event. I told them to go pee up a crooked stick. I told the fire marshal. See, the fire marshal and them, when they showed up, I think they wanted their payoff or something. I don't know, because they just walked up to me at the front door. But essentially, what it came to, I don't remember exactly what I told them. Essentially, what I told them was that I would pay them when they helped me work. So if they want to help me set up some 200 tables and 1,000 chairs and everything, then I'll give them money. But other than that, I didn't see any value in it, so I wasn't giving them nothing. And they never came back. Now, whether that pissed everybody off in town or not, I don't know. Looking at the letters of the editor, some of the people were quite mad for me doing it. I was recruiting for Nazis and everything else I was accused of. But then other people enjoyed the event profusely and wrote in about it and supported me, so all in all, it came off good, and I didn't really care that I told him that. I thought it felt good.
Well, I fought with my township in the county. I had at one time about 10 cars on my land, and I didn't have license plates on them.
Mm-hmm.
And between 83 and 90, I cost my township $43,000. Oh, that hurt me to no end, you know.
Oh yeah.
I get the same feeling you just gave me.
Yeah.
Chuckle. And then I started all over again, and of course I got a little more knowledge, and I found out that we don't own a doggone thing. Since we have a license plate on the car,
yeah,
the state owns it.
Mm-hmm.
They have equitable. They own they're a trust, implied constructive trust, and they own us lock, stock, and barrel. Well, they did it again to me, and my property was in a trust, and that made it worse.
Yeah.
Because the trustee owned the property.
Mm-hmm.
When you give your property to somebody else, in a trust, they own the property.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the state gets by with owning your land and your cars.
Uh-huh.
You give them the original signature on the document. If you walked into the courtroom, and I found this out, well, it happened to me many years ago, but it didn't dawn on me until just not too long past, that I walked up to the clerk of courts, and the one thing she said, is that an original document? And I said, well, yeah, it is. It could have been a copy for all I know. I admitted it was original. So they had the original signature. And that's what they need.
Yeah.
And since when I put my land claim in, I put it in under 2 affidavits which were original, and my affidavit was a copy, and my private land claim was a copy. And that, I know, confronted them with something that they couldn't comprehend, because they fought me with tooth and nail. I've sent letters back, land privately sold, non-acceptance. One letter was all marked up on the face of it, unopened. Once you open that letter, once you accept it, they've got service.
Yeah.
Whether it's by regular mail or by certified mail, makes no difference. They've got service, and I found that one out the hard way too. And it took a little bit.
That's unfortunate,
especially in this storage bit.
Well, sir, I don't mean to cut you short, but I turned off the 101.1 FM to start the advertising, and they've been missing some excellent conversation.
Yeah.
Let me knock out these ads so we can get them back on so they can hear us.
Okay.
Alrighty?
All right. Tell Bill I said hello to him again.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty, as soon as I get these items for sale that I want to cover tonight over with, we'll turn 101.1 FM back on the air and open the phone lines. Okay, first I want to start off with the books and videos. Let's start off with the book written by William Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse. It's over 500 pages of well-documented, suppressed information. It's an excellent book. If you want to read some really good stuff, and it's going to be one of those that more than likely, it's one of those books that, to most people, that once you sit down with it, you can't lay it back down. one of these that if you start, you better start it early in the day when you read it. Because I've talked to many people who have started to read the book, Behold a Pale Horse, and they end up late up at night, and it sometimes causes disparity within the home. So if you want a good book, Behold a Pale Horse, it's $30, postage paid. And by the way, before we cover what items are for sale, let me cover the generalities. If you want to inquire or order something, you can write Hour of the Time, care of 101.1 FM, P.O. Box 940, Eager, E-A-G-A-R, Arizona 85925. And I'll repeat that again when I'm done. If you need to call for something, call between 1 and 5 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday, and that's it, please. And I say that not to be rude, but because we have a whole lot of other stuff going on that we have to take care of. So if you would call, if you have inquiries or orders or whatnot, 1 to 5 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday, we would greatly appreciate it. Okay, I'll go back to the items. The first one, like I said, Behold a Pale Horse, written by William Cooper, 500 pages, excellent book. $30 postage paid. Next item I'd like to cover is the audio book put out by Alternative Audio. It's 3 hours of information. It is a very, I guess abridged is the word, version of the book, because obviously you can't fit a book of that size into 3 hours. But it's a very good tape. It's got 10 minutes of new material. It's a 2-tape set actually. $19.95 postage paid. Okay, that's the audio book of Behold a Pale Horse. It's $19.95 postage paid. Alright, next I'd like to go to the Veritas. Veritas is the international newspaper which is published. It is the only newspaper which addresses issues that affect your freedom and individuality. It fully documents sources for the readers to confirm, which is really important. Don't just read it. Don't just believe it for face value. And, of course, I got to interrupt my commercial to flip the tape. Just a second here. And I'm recording again. Okay. Anyway, Veritas addresses issues that affect your freedom and individuality. Fully documents all sources for readers to confirm. That's important. Don't ever just read anything and take it for face value. Check it out. It is hand-delivered to all the key representatives and media bureaus in Washington, D.C. It's an excellent paper. A 12-issue subscription is $55. 12 issues, $55. That's Veritas. It means the truth, Latin. Alright. Next item is the book Oklahoma City Day 1. It's a detailed account of the bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on April 19th, 1995. It's written by Michelle Marie Moore with a foreword by William Cooper. This is a really good book. If you want to see a lot of stuff that was going, the behind-the-scenes stuff about and the events surrounding the Oklahoma City bombing, this book is $16 post-paid. It's a really good book. These book orders, like I just mentioned, the Behold a Pale Horse, Oklahoma City Day 1, we try to turn those out in a 24-hour time span. Okay, we do our best to do that. Now, just remember though, if you mail something on Thursday and it gets here Saturday, it's not going to be till Monday till we ship it out. So there's a little lag there, and we have problems also like everybody else. So, but we try to send these out within 24 hours. This book, Oklahoma City Day 1, it's $16, postage paid. Excellent book. Okay. Next items I'd like to cover real quick is the Branch Davidians Last Will and Testament video. This is the video that the Branch Davidians made on their own to tell their side of the story. And the thing, it's the actual 2-hour videotape. Okay, it was made for the BATF and the FBI to prove that no one was being held against their will. You see families there, women, children, men. The unfortunate thing about this whole thing is the people there didn't realize that this was going to be their only chance to tell their story to the world, because all the people in this videotape are now dead. Okay, This is excellent tape if you want to see what was going on inside the Branch Davidians' home, their church, not a compound, their home, their church, and hear their side of the story. The Branch Davidians' last will and testament is $30 post-paid. Okay? It's $30 postage paid for the last will and testament, the Branch Davidians. Okay, the next video I would like to cover is the Zapruder film. Give you a quick rundown of this. On November 22nd, 1963, Abraham Zapruder stood on a concrete abutment near the famous Grassy Knoll, as it's called, in Dallas, Texas, intending to film the president's motorcade. Instead, he filmed the assassination of President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Zapruder then rushed the film to a lab where it was developed. A local TV station aired it, and it became known as the Zapruder film the very same night. The film was confiscated shortly thereafter and transported to the National Photographic Laboratory in Washington, D.C., that is. The film was eventually returned to Abraham Zapruder, who promptly auctioned it off to the highest bidder, Time Life Incorporated. It was never made available to public scrutiny, and till now, if you see this film, you'll know why it wasn't made available to public scrutiny. Okay? This is your chance to acquire a very rare part of our history. It's an excellent film. It's the Zapruder film. It's $40 postage paid. Zapruder is $40 postage paid. Then I just got a couple more things here I'd like to cover. Alright. The Luxor video. The Luxor video is a video with, and by the way, I messed it up again. The Zapruder film has no narration. You watch the film, and you study it, and you study other information, and you figure out what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. Okay? Make up your own mind. Okay? It's an excellent film, Zapruder film. And the Luxor tape, the next one, no narration. It's for study. Watch it. It's an excellent tape, though. It's the film of the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas. The big black pyramid with the little bright top on it. And this film is was taped shortly after the Luxor's opening in late 1993, when it was brand new and pretty looking, not all dusty and dirty now outside. It's a very mysterious place. It imparts, if you go there, some people get excited and it's the neatest hotel they ever seen, and other people have reported that it's like a tomb. It smells like death. It looks like death. But if you want to really study the emerging New World Order and see a lot of the symbolism behind it and whatnot, and see it in use, and see how people just walk right by it and don't even catch on to it, you can see all that in this tape. It's the Luxor video for $35, postage paid. Okay, $35 for Luxor video, postage paid. Alright. I think what I'll do now is... let me go over the address one more time for inquiries, letters, and one more thing too, the information packet. If you want information, send a self-addressed stamped envelope, a number 10 size. If you're unfamiliar with the number 10 size envelope, when you go buy it at the stationery store or wherever, ask them, or it'll say it on the box if you buy a package of business envelopes. Number 10, self-addressed stamped envelope. Unfortunately, I could not fill an order the other day because I got an envelope that was blank, and there was no, and it was inside of an envelope that also didn't have a return address. Okay, so if you think you're the person who did that, call between 1 and 5, and we'll see if we can fix things. Please just send that if you want the information packet. Like I say, a number 10 SASE with 75 cents postage, and you're going to get the info pack covering videos, audio tapes, videotapes, and the 98 list of audio tapes from the broadcast for 1998 of the hour of the time. Okay, that's $1 included with the number 10 SASE with 75 cents postage, and just ask for the information. Okay, and we'll know exactly what you need. Okay, terms of payment. If you want to order something, please send a blank money order. I stress blank. Don't fill it out. Blank money order. Cash, gold or silver coins. If you want to barter in gold and silver, call us, and we will work out at a very equitable price. We're very fair here, and because we know the value of gold and silver to people and the real value of it, and we will work out a deal which will be favorable to both parties, hopefully. Okay, if you wish to call between 1 and 5 Mountain Time, Monday through Friday, 1 to 5 p.m., the number is 520-333-4578, and we'll attend to your questions as promptly as possible. One more time for the address if you wish to order something or inquire for information or just write hello letters, whatever. It is Hour of the Time, care of 101.1 FM, P.O. Box 940, Eager, spelled E-A-G-A-R, Arizona, 85925. Okay. I think that'll do it for now. Okay, I'm going to have to go away from the mic for a second to turn on the amp and get all this stuff going. I'm going to turn 101.1 FM back on the air. Okay, so just a second. And I'm walking away. Okay. 101.1 is back on the air now. Alright, if you'd like to call in, the number is 520-333-4578. That's the call-in line. And you can talk about just about anything. Bring up something. The last caller on the international broadcast that called right after we turned off the local 101.1 FM was an excellent call. I enjoyed talking to him, as everybody that calls in. It's enjoyable here. I like to hear this input and hear the different people's views on what they've done and ideas and things and how they think we can fix things. So if you'd like to call in, it's 520-333-4578. Now I got something I'd like to talk about. Something's been really eating at me. We were talking earlier about, at least on the shortwave broadcast, unfortunately Eager missed out on a little bit of this, about planning departments or government agencies pushing people around with licensing fees and permits and inspections. Well, I got something that really irks me when I see on the news or read it, whatever, about antitrust. When Congress drags, Gates up there about Microsoft or whatever, or you hear someone getting in trouble for the antitrust, or we should split them up, whatever. That eats me alive because the federal government, mainly, but unfortunately counties and cities seem to be falling into this more and more all the time, are the biggest perpetrators of this. They go around and say, well, you can't open a business without this license, which is going to cost you this much, which tells me they've got a monopoly on it. Or when they come out and say, you can't open a radio station without this license or that license, or you have to follow these rules and you have to pay these fees to this agency, that's antitrust. That's a monopoly, okay? So think about that. You may disagree with me. If you do, call in, tell me, write me, whatever. Or you may agree with me. Call in anyway. But I see it all the time. People get squeezed out of endeavors, unfortunately. And businesses quite often end up in ruin because of all the fees and taxes and licenses that are required. And it's a joke. It's a pure joke. So next time you see somebody who happens to be smart and brings somebody up on the news for they're a good businessman essentially, and it was competition, and they happen to get rich very quickly or whatever with their ideas, and they're drug up in the news or harangued by agencies for antitrust. Just think about that though, okay? What agencies or what organizations do it the most? Government agencies, okay? When they monopolize industries and I say monopolize industries by imparting fees and licenses and this requirement and that requirement which they really had no right to do in the first place. And unfortunately people fall for it. But what it does, it restricts it down, makes it so hard for someone to get into a field or an endeavor that it just chokes people out. Okay? Anyway, if you'd like to call in, the number is 520-333-4578. The line is open now. Feel free to comment, ask questions, talk about whatever you like. Bill just had to take a break for a while. He's been on his feet for quite a while, and he just needed a break. So now I'm going to rant to the end of the show, which is about, we got about 25 minutes of call-in time at the most left in. We're going to be off the air at 9 Western, straight up. I had to get a drink of water. Anyway, I just want to talk about that because the antitrust thing just eats me alive when I see that, when they're going after a businessman or something. Okay. Hello? Oh, I thought I heard something. It was a door.
Huzzah.
Yeah, I just heard something slam. I thought
Did
someone was falling.
anybody call about Sean David Morton's?
No, I haven't seen nothing.
I was hoping somebody would
I
call
know.
and tell us what he said. I'm really curious. Any of you heard what Sean David Morton said last night on Art Bell? I'd be interested to hear what it was. I want to know, you know, when we're going to become beachfront property. I want to know when it's going to happen.
Cool.
And you know, Sean David Morton claims to know. So many of you guys heard that. Call me right now, 520-333-4578, and tell me what he said. When's it going to happen?
Bill, I had some inquiries in town today from local people.
Yeah.
If we could put out, now that they're back, 101.1's back on, just the address.
The address of what?
The P.O. Box.
Oh,
yeah, because I had people
101.1 FM, P.O. Box 940, Eager, spelled E-A-G-A-R, Arizona 85925. By the way, thanks for letting me take a break.
Oh, no problem.
My legs were killing me.
I had 3 just today ask me, well, how do every day we get cut off, and I explained why we had to do that.
Yeah.
Because the community.
It's a community service non-profit station. For those of you listening in the Round Valley, 101.1 FM is a community service non-profit station. We cannot and will not air commercials. So when we do commercials for the hour of the time, we have to take 101.1 FM Eager off the air until we figure out how to wire something up where we don't have to do that. We can just switch you over to music or something. But in the meantime, that's what we're doing. So if you want to know the address, get your pen and paper, and I will give it to you in about 5 minutes. I'll let you all scurry around. Get pen and paper. We'll give you the address so that you can write to the hour of the time, or to 101.1 FM Eager, or to me, or to Pooh, or to Doyle, or whoever you want. Write to Crusher. He's never gotten a letter. I think he'd be happy to get a letter. To tell you the truth, Crusher is our trained attack dog, and believe me, you don't ever want to mess with that dog. He is trained to protect the family, and he will do it. He definitely will do it. That dog is, you talk about a terrorist.
Yeah, there you go. We finally found one.
We finally found a terrorist, boy. I mean, when he homes in on you and gives you that look, and you hear that low growl in his throat, stark terror will go up your spine. My goodness!
I wonder what some of those people that have come up the driveway thought.
I don't know. I imagine he's scared him pretty bad. But he's as gentle as a baby lamb with the members of the family. And with the 2 little girls who occasionally like to try to pull his ears off and poke him in the eye.
Hit him on the head.
Hit him on the head. And but you know, he looks at them as his puppies. So when they get rowdy or they're doing something they're not supposed to do, he'll make them stop.
Puts them in line.
He puts them right in line, makes them stop, straighten up, and behave themselves. I'm not sure that they always like that, but that's the way it happens. 520-333-4578 is the number. We've got about, 25 more minutes in the broadcast. If you'd like to call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about, we're here to do that. If you don't want to do that, then
you got to listen to us.
Then you got to listen to us, and we'll do something else.
Yeah.
Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, Bill?
Yes.
Hey, you were talking earlier about the economy.
Yes.
And what's going to happen at the end of the month.
During the month. Don't wait till the end of the month. Don't wait till tomorrow.
Right.
It's in the process already.
What I was wondering is, what can we expect between then and the rest of the year?
Well, like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. All I know is what's going to happen and what's in the process of happening. Some things I can call to the day. Other things I can call, within weeks or months. But I don't know everything, and I don't have a crystal ball, and God certainly is not whispering in my ear, even though I feel that I'm sort of guided in what I do.
Maybe with the research that you've done with history and what's
Well, I can tell you what's going to happen in the future, but I can't tell you what's going to happen between October and the end of December. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the economy collapses, I mean, you've got just as much ability to foresee what's going to happen in that period as I do. It's going to be chaotic. People are going to be having a hard time. There may be even a lot of social unrest.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, do you see...
Maybe a few congressmen might get hung. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I guess what I'm getting at is, do you expect things to deteriorate quickly, or will it be a gradual process?
What do you want here? You know, you got to do some things for yourself. I've already told you what I know.
I understand.
I can't lay out a map for your life. That's beyond my capability to do.
Okay.
I've given you what I know, and you got to run with that.
Okay.
You know, my name is not Sean David Morton. I'm not Sean David Morton. I can't do what he does.
Okay. Well, listen, Bill, keep up the great work.
Okay.
And I'll be continuing to listen to you.
Thank you.
And hopefully I can support you in the near future.
Well, I hope so.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Thanks for calling. 520-333-4578 is the number. You know, they always want more, don't they? Good evening. You're on the air.
How you doing today?
Good.
Night.
I'm good.
I don't think you've talked about this. I haven't listened to your show all day, or the whole time period. Just caught the end of it.
Uh-huh.
But as I've been listening to shortwave, there's other stations I've listened to. One of them is I was actually raised Catholic, but it's a Catholic station. I've been out of Catholicism for a while.
Uh-huh.
But
You'll go back.
well, I'll go back.
You'll go back.
I will.
Yes. I've never seen a Catholic who left Catholicism who did not go back before he died. Never seen it, not once.
Well, that's interesting. Well, we'll see. Well, my question is this,
I don't mean that negatively. It's just an observation.
you might. Again, I don't know. I've seen enough people leave, but you might be right on your deathbed. Who knows? All that indoctrination might just suck you back in.
Yeah.
But you seem to be familiar with history. You know that in South America, for instance, many priests were instrumental in the revolution.
Yes, Jesuit priests.
Jesuits.
Preaching liberation theology, which is Marxism.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the other thing. So here we have the Catholic Church in this country.
Not the Catholic Church, Jesuits.
Jesuits. Well, how about this is my question for this country. The signers of the Declaration, I believe only one was a Roman Catholic.
Yes.
And as the Catholic Church, which is fairly powerful here, even though I'm going to assume it still is, since I've been church for a while, is there some kind of it's going to sound like conspiracy kind of thing, but does the papistry in Rome? It seems like they are always on the side of some type of a revolution against an established government. And
they're on the side of world government. You see,
that's what I was wondering.
They don't care how world government comes around, and neither do the communists, and neither do the Zionists. They all want world government. They all help each other to get world government. When world government is established, then they'll battle each other to find out who's going to sit on the throne of the world. The Pope wants to be the head of the world.
Okay, this has always been, even though, I'm going to probably...
There's no secret.
Right.
The Vatican makes no secret of this.
What's that?
The Vatican makes no secret of that.
Well, and it's just that as I've listened to shortwave radio, there's a Catholic station on, and as I was listening to it today, the people that were on it were preaching the importance of following our government, our politicians, and the importance of the strength of the state.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going, well, that's kind of interesting that they were pushing the strength of the state, especially when the state has voted to veto what's that terrible abortion?
Partial birth abortion.
Yes, they've now
murder.
vetoed.
Abortion is murder. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what they call me because of it. Abortion is murder.
It's interesting. Millions of unborn children have been murdered. And again, I don't want to sound too much like a the murders like Kevorkian. Kevorkian is one of the biggest mass murderers today, and he's still walking around. But back to the Catholic Church, that was quite interesting what you just said. So you feel that whatever it takes to bring everything together under one world order, then the Catholic Church would probably follow that.
Absolutely, yes, they want it. You see, once it gets there, then the church will bring its power and its money and its followers to bear to make to attempt anyway to put the Pope on the throne of the world. And at least on the religious side of the throne of the world.
And what's also interesting is the way you're indoctrinated when you're young is, of course, if you're not Catholic, well, they've lightened up the view a little bit. But it used to be, as I was growing up,
you're condemned.
If you're Catholic, you're basically told that you would not be saved.
That's right.
All those heretic Protestants and every other religion was not going to be saved. So therefore, that puts fear into you when you're a child.
Sure.
And as you grow up,
yeah, and
you're probably right, it does stay with you.
Yeah, and if what I said was not true, why are Catholic priests fomenting revolution to help bring all this about?
Yeah, you see, and that's back to the point that I want to get to. As I read different things, it seems like there's always priests involved in the overthrow of whatever that stable government is. Now, I wonder if they do this independently, or whether it is something that is by design.
Well, it absolutely is by design. This concept that everything in the world happens by accident is the most ludicrous, most idiotic thing that I have ever heard. There are forces at work which are serving agendas, and those agendas have plans, and those who follow those agendas are carrying out those plans.
So, not to put words in your mouth, not that all Catholics think like me, or like all Catholics are absolute followers of the Pope, but in general, it sounds like Catholicism and the people that follow it might be a little dangerous to the Republic.
No, not the people who follow, because they don't understand what's even happening. They're only dangerous when they're being guided by a subversive agenda. And that can happen without their knowledge. You understand that? Just like Zionism is dangerous.
I can understand that because here you have dogmas set up
yes.
that are not to be questioned.
Mm-hmm.
That they have already, you're familiar with the dogmas, maybe not exactly what they are, but the dogmas, as you may or may not know, are not to be questioned within the Catholic Church.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
So therefore, if you don't, is that what you mean by people following blindly?
No, it's like the Freemasons. Those in the lower degrees have no idea that they're part of a huge movement toward one world government. And many of them would argue with you that they're not. But if you present them with the writings of the greatest Freemasons who have ever lived and written about the real religion of Freemasonry and the goals of Freemasonry, then they get red in the face and they're embarrassed and
that's interesting because Freemasonry, I believe, is anti-Catholic.
Well, you see, if you listened very carefully, or if you read very carefully the words of Adam Weishaupt, then you would have noticed that he said, we exist under different names and occupations, and we appear to oppose each other. But at the highest levels, we are of one mind.
This is a Masonic writing?
Pardon?
Is this a Masonic writing that you just quoted?
No, Adam Weishaupt was a Jesuit priest who founded the Bavarian Order of the Illuminati.
I got to write his name. What's his name again?
Adam Weishaupt.
Adam Weishaupt.
Weishaupt.
You know what? I think I looked that up, and something about within a Jesuit church, some strange thing was founded.
Ignatius Loyola, who was the first Inspector General of the Jesuit order, was also a member of the, guess what?
With the fox guarding the hen house?
He was the head of the Alumbrados in Spain, which is Spanish for the Illuminati.
Interesting.
It certainly is.
But of course, different from
it gets
the name.
even more interesting and more interesting.
What's that?
It even gets more interesting. But go ahead. We don't have time to get that interesting.
Yes, I guess it's getting late, and I'll only say that I'll tune you in Monday.
Okay, and I hope we've given you some food that will provide you with some hours of pleasurable or maybe not pleasurable research.
Well, good night to you and Doyle.
Good night.
Right, see you later. Thanks.
Those of you who think conspiracy is a weird idea are fools. And that's a fact, if you ever heard one in your life. 520-333-4578 is the number. It is the nature of man to conspire. Many of you listening to this broadcast conspire every day.
You get together with someone, we're going to plan this, not tell nobody.
Yeah, a lot of you do it at work to get a promotion or get somebody fired or get somebody hired. Or get somebody in the back seat of your Chevy at the drive-in or something. Good evening, you're on the air.
Hello, Bill. I enjoyed your definition of a populist. Could you tell me what a libertarian is?
I've never been able to figure that out. They, I'll tell you, they pretend to be for freedom and liberty and for the United States of America, but they believe also in what they call free trade, which is the same thing as globalism. They also believe that all borders should be opened and there should be free traffic in and out with no inspections or hindrance of any kind. And a lot of other really strange beliefs that we really don't have time to go into. But that's, there's a couple there that ought to make you sit down and think.
Well, because I've been reading their newspaper, the New Federalist, and I really can't figure out. They praise the Chinese government. They seem to be praising Clinton, and it's just very, very strange.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it strange? I've found what the libertarians profess to be about and what they really are about and what they write about to be entirely two different things.
And one quick question. Behold a Pale Horse, is that a revised or abridged, the book?
There was, several years ago, I think, maybe 3 or 4 corrections made to some mistakes that I made originally when I wrote the book.
Oh, because I heard some talk that you were forced to take something out of it, or?
No, I was never forced to take anything out. We found 3 or 4 mistakes, and we corrected those mistakes, and that happened, what's this, 98? That happened maybe 93 or 94, somewhere around there.
Okay, well, I'm going to order the book. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I find a mistake that I've made, folks, I try to correct it. I don't know what you guys do, but
we heard rumors.
But I don't like to make mistakes and not correct them. And there were 3 or 4 mistakes in the book that I discovered were mistakes, and one a glaring error, and we corrected those. And that's it. Nothing else has been changed in the book. We were not forced to remove anything or add anything ever. What can I say?
We heard that, though, on that radio show live one night. Remember when we found out that we were dead?
Oh, yeah.
We found out we were dead.
Yeah, we were listening to the radio one night. We were sitting there listening to the radio, and we heard them announce our death. And that the book was...
First, it had been severely abridged.
Severely abridged.
And then now was completely yanked from the market and was unavailable anywhere.
Yeah, and we're sitting there listening to that.
Laughing.
And, what can I say, folks? Art Bell is just a strange phenomenon. 520-333-45... See how tired I am, folks? 4578. 520-333-4578. Nope, nobody has ever forced me to add anything to my book. My book has not been monumentally changed or even basically changed or even really changed. Only 3 or 4 mistakes were corrected. If you want to go hunt down one of the original copies, you can set them side by side and turn the pages and compare the books to each other, and you will see that there is absolutely nothing of consequence has happened to my book. Nothing that would cause you to change any of what you get out of the book, or the message of the book, or anything for that matter. It just has not ever happened. Really weird. So nobody was listening, and nobody heard what Sean David Morton said last night. I find that very hard to believe. Unless you just don't want to call up and admit that you listened to Art Bell, and I don't know why you wouldn't, because I had planned to stay up and listen to it, and had recommended that you guys do too, just to see how people's minds are shaped with this drivel, and how they go about creating this mass hysteria. I mean, if you don't study the enemy, you can't fight the enemy.
Know thy enemy.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And the one night really proved it. He seemed like a very intelligent man. He had a very good job from Texas. Called in. I thought they were just meteors until I heard your show.
Yeah. That's he caught the hysteria. I mean, it was just the hysteria spread across the country. I was, I was watching the sky, and I saw this streak of light, and I thought it was a meteor until I heard this show, and now I know the aliens are landing.
I thought I just went back to sleep till I heard your show.
Yeah, this is incredible. Oh, and the classic. He's still playing on this missing time thing up in Washington State, and the classic of all was this person was in bed, asleep. A little child came in, woke up in their bed, and came in to crawl in bed with the parent, and woke the parent up, crawled in bed with the parent, and the next thing you know, the parent looked at the clock, and an hour and a half had gone by. Missing time. And Bart Bell says, I knew it. It's happened to more people than we ever thought it has. Something is going on. And
next time I'm late for work.
Then more calls came in about the missing time. Good evening, you're on the air.
Hello, Mr. Cooper.
Hello.
This is David from Texas.
Hi, David.
And I was just wanting to find out about, I was going to probably next week order your subscription to Veritas. And I understand to say just a blank money order, correct?
Blank money order or cash, yes. If you send cash, make sure you wrap it up real good so that no postal employee can hold it up to the light and see what's in there. And that goes for blank money orders also.
Okay. Well, like I said,
And I don't mean to cast any aspersions on postal employees, but every once in a while somebody is tempted, and we don't want to do that.
I understand. Well, I woke up to everything that was going on, I guess right after Waco when I seen what happened. I knew something wasn't right in this country.
Yeah, well, something is terribly not right, terribly wrong in this country.
Yeah, I know it's quite a shock, and most people don't want to hear you talk about it. I thought, well, people would just be glad to hear all this, but definitely they don't care about hearing it.
No, they're scared. They don't want to admit that it's going on, and they don't want to be responsible for having to do something about it.
Yeah, well,
and they don't want to get on somebody's list.
And people where I work at, they think their 401ks is just going to carry them.
Their 401ks are going to disappear over the next few weeks. Like a puff of smoke. In fact, a good chunk of most of the 401ks and retirement funds in this country are already gone. You cannot help but be hurt when the stock market drops 1,800 points.
Oh, yeah, it drops about 500 in the last 2 days or close to it, I believe.
Yeah, well, it's over 1,800 points from when I made my prediction that on or before October the 25th, it would drop 2,500 points.
I live, like I said, I've got 3 calls, and I got one tonight. I guess they're doing a survey in Texas here. They asked me who would I vote for, Morrow or Bush. I said neither one of them. I said I'm like most people in this country, disillusioned by the political parties. I said we needed somebody to stand on the Constitution for the United States of America.
Oh, I bet that got them going.
She didn't know what to say about that. And
no, there's no box on her form to check for that.
No, but I said, well, wait just a minute. I said there's one man here in Texas that I include. I said Ron Paul. I said from what I understand, the Republicans distance themselves from him, and he's about the only Republican that I would support, which I can't vote for him. He's not in my area here.
Yeah.
But she wrote that down. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you. There's a man I used to listen to on a station here out of Livingston, Texas, and John Bryant, and he used to have some pretty good shows on. Do you know what happened to him?
I never even heard of him.
Well, he had Michelle Moore on, I know, one time. I remember I taped the program. He was on the American Freedom Network with Norm Resnick, I believe, was on there. Also on that same network. But I just wonder, he had some pretty good shows on there. And there's one man that he had on there. He didn't go by his real name, just Mr. A is what he referred to himself. But he talked about a lot of the symbolism in Washington, D.C. and around the country.
Be very cautious about people who will not tell you their real name.
Yeah.
Anonymous reports, anonymous letters, anonymous accusations, anonymous books are, I have discovered, are by and large, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, bogus baloney.
Well, one thing I did get that you
bait.
recommended, I had a hard time getting, was Ominous Parallels.
Well, that's an excellent book to read.
Very, very deep.
Leonard Peacock,
very deep, for me anyway. But I remember you said on your program, it's been years ago, I hadn't been able to hear you since you moved from WWCR, now I'm picking you up again. But I think it was Penguin Books you said that had it available. Well, I think it was about a year after you said that I tried to get it, and they said it was not available. So I
it may not.
Books
go in print and out of print all the time.
Yeah, well, I've about local Walden Books, I've tried to order just a paperback copy of it, and I had never been able to get it. I've done that 2 or 3 times.
Well, you can always go through a book search place.
Well, that's what I did.
Holy
I went to
smokes.
a used bookstore.
You know what? We're out of time. I got to let you go right this instant because, we're gone. Gone.
God
Bye.
bless you.
Bye.
You too. Good night, folks. And Doyle?
Hey, good night, everybody.
And God bless each and every single one of you. Let me see. I think this is number 4. Okay. And we'll just do that. Trucking on out. Bye.
Bye-bye.